Welcome to the EST Hangout.
This is the EST Hangout, and today's guests are...
A very good Thursday morning to you. Welcome to the Tailgate edition of the EST Hangout today. It's an Oiler game day. It's a day out before the Elks' first tailgate of the season. So we're doing the tailgate here at Edmonton Sports Talk. Thank you to everyone for tuning into the EST Hangout presented by Sentinel Storage on your clear choice for Edmonton Sports, Edmonton Sports Talk. Thank you to everyone listening on TuneIn, iHeartRadio, EdmontonSportsTalk.com, watching on YouTube or listening wherever you get your podcast. Tom Gazzola, Iwanyk with you. Benny, the intern on the other side. We got Gerry Haracsi from the Spirit of Edmonton back on the Hangout again. Round of clicks for Gerry Haracsi.
Sociable.
I almost went too soon, Gerry. My bad. Ben Thompson's first ever sluice juice.
Incredible.
Yeah.
So, sluice juice also, Gerry, bringing us a round of clicks for that part of this there.
A whole cooler of it.
And Dave McKinnon, Dave in Section T, listener Dave in Section T. He's also part of the tailgate. He's with the Cordy clan. They tailgate at Golden Bears football games. They tailgate at Elks games. He actually messaged me a couple weeks ago. He's like, hey, you guys never get to go out, and it's going to be like a game day, and what about if I brought the tailgate to you guys?
Unbelievable.
And I threw it out on air. I was like, yeah, Dave might do this. And Gerry texted, and he's like, in.
How good is that burger?
Yeah.
And he will be here shortly. He's just cleaning up. But I got to show the double E that he put on top of the burger.
Is that salt or is it seeds?
Sesame seed, I think.
Yeah. There you go.
You're good like that. Yep.
Yeah. Very impressive.
Yeah.
Like,
That is pretty
very
good.
And
impressive.
they are amazing.
Delicious.
I will be biting through that during the
Great-
show. So
great
apologies
breakfast.
to everyone. He could explain it more, but he won the burger contest at Tailgate last
I can
year.
see why.
And this was a play on that. So he
whatever-
can get into the details on that because
Yeah.
there was a little different because this is a burger he used with Acme meats and a little bit of his own meat
Oh.
that he caught from hunting. Yeah, there's a little bit of elk in there.
Very nicely
Yeah.
done. Good touch.
Apparently, he could explain it more. Like at the tailgate though, last year it was everyone got the same burgers. It was sponsored by Save On Food, so they all got that. So that was just an even playing field. You got this burger from Save On Food.
Yeah.
It was everything else that went into that. So
Well, I'm a connoisseur of hunting, having hosted a hunting show on Wild TV for 5 years. I have more of an appreciation for wild meat and game, and that burger that Dave made today was amazing. And then Gerry comes in here and caps it all off with some fresh sluice juice.
It's funny you say Dave switched up his recipe a little bit for his burger as well. I was in a rush this morning to get my daughter to school, so the sluice juice recipe is a little bit more intense than it usually is. So enjoy it.
Honey, time to go.
are you ready yet? Oops.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's delicious, Gerry.
Well, thank you. It's always a pleasure bringing it in and to be here.
Great to have you back.
How are you doing? How's
Awesome.
winter?
Yeah, it was fast, man. Oh, real life job is crazy busy in the winter. I don't know if you guys know what I do, but I'm the vice president of the RV Dealers Association, and I run the RV shows at the Expo Center, the BMO Center, and then do everything else great for RVing in Alberta. And so it's our busiest time in the office is the winter. And now we slow down a little bit. We just hosted RV Learning Weekend and did some really cool stuff that it's just. I got that job because of what I do with the Spirit of Edmonton. I was recruited and got it because of my volunteering. And
no way.
And I tell people I've got the two best full-time jobs in the world. One I get paid for, and the other one I just love to do. So,
well, one of them gives you like fulfillment that's not monetary, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You are like, I don't know, how would I describe you around the tailgate? Well, you're the king of the tailgate, I guess.
Yeah, we're not. We just have fun. We love doing it, and hosting is what I do. I
do it very
love
well.
meeting people, and both parts of my life is it's awesome. It's just a lot of it. When you're in the RV world, you're selling happiness and you're drinking. When you're the Spirit of Edmonton,
great
you're experiencing
tagline.
happiness and you're drinking. So it's
Touche.
Yeah.
I respect all of those things, to be honest with you.
Okay, so on the show today, we will talk Oilers, we're going to talk Elks, we're going to talk tailgating, talk Spirit of Edmonton, so there's a lot to get to. I need to go off slightly here, right off the bat. I don't know if this was a shot, but maybe it wasn't. But Jody's saying, speaking of the Elks, how was their first preseason game? Anyone? I was there. I was in Calgary. Yeah, they got smoked. 31-4 or whatever it was. Compare the lineups. That's all I'm going to say on that.
Yeah.
Compare the lineups. Ragumba played a lot of that. He was second unit going into this week. He's actually now been practicing with the first units a bit this week. McKellar played on the offensive line for a bit. I don't know how many snaps he got. It's hard to fully figure that one out. I think that might have been it of starters of the Edmonton Elks. The starters of the Calgary Stampeders played last week. Their backups then took over while the Elks went to the backups of the backups for the rest of that game. Like, so compare the rosters, compare the snaps, and then talk to me about that preseason game.
Yeah, that's crazy to even think that. I mean, it's always nice to win, but
Sure.
you get 2 games to evaluate these guys, and you're not going to dress your starters because it's hard, violent contact.
And that's the team's always just like, okay, there's paying customers here in Edmonton tomorrow.
Yep.
They don't want to pay for all backups. They don't want to pay for no-name. They want to go to their season tickets and tell them, like, yeah, you're going to see Trey a little bit. Yeah, you're going to see the new receivers a little bit. And then we're going to switch to everyone else. But we're going to show you save the stars or the top players for the home games and your home crowd, and you take the backups and everyone else to the road games.
Yeah.
But somebody has to be a home team and somebody has to be a road team. So that's just how preseason is. And we see it early in hockey preseason, I'll use split squad day. When there's
That's
the
a good
2
way to
games,
describe it.
Edmonton, Calgary, the top line is going to be here in Edmonton. The lower lines are going to be down in Calgary and vice versa. Just how it goes.
I watched that game. I like how CFL Plus was putting it on YouTube. That's a great touch just to kind of get people going, get the juices flowing a little bit. And the Stamps had 80 guys in uniform, but you're right, they did go with their starters at the beginning of the game, and then they went to the backups, and then the Elks probably 65 to 75. And honestly, outside of like a handful of names, I didn't recognize it. Like Joel DeBlanco was the one that stood out to me the most. I'm like, oh,
And he's going to be a special teams guy.
Yeah.
And he's a backup for the linebacking core this year.
Yeah, there was no starters really in that game. And you heard David Beard with Reed and Jay on the show yesterday, and he's getting ready to get going. And he just said, man, I just want to hit somebody in a different colored jersey finally. So he'll have his opportunity tomorrow. And I'm sure a lot of those guys feel the same way. All the starters, all the guys that were brought back, they're ready to play, and tomorrow's their day where the stage is for them. So
I will also point out to one thing as a Baltimore Ravens fan, do we have the record or do we tie the record? Can't remember if it's a tie or we hold it our own of consecutive wins in the preseason. We were undefeated in the preseasons for a number of seasons in a row. You know how many Super Bowls they won in that time?
none.
Exactly. Exactly. They had good regular season in there. There was other things, but they never won the Super Bowl or anything like that. Preseason don't matter.
Yeah.
And I don't even care if they lose tomorrow. Now, I expect better results tomorrow. I expect some touchdowns tomorrow. I want to see a little bit of chemistry. But when it's wins, loss actually count, and we see it in the standings, then I'll start worrying or caring or like being upset or
Fair.
Like if they go win tomorrow 40-0, I'm not gonna be like, hey, Grey Cup champs, here we go.
Well, no, you
Right,
be
there's
realistic
the balance.
about it.
You have to go the other way, and it's like, they beat the backups. It's preseason.
But before we went to air, Gerry made a good point to me about tomorrow. Should be a nice day. Tailgate's going to be going a little preseason tailgate as well too, right, Gerry? But you said something. You said that just a win, just get a win to get some good juju going as well. And I think it's possible, especially with all the guys that'll be playing.
Yeah, tomorrow's going to be fun. Like it's, Tommy, as we were talking, I said it's our 51st year, and at the Elks, however many, years, 76 or 77 years. But tomorrow night is the first time all over again for all of us. I was at a meeting there yesterday, and they're scrambling to find their music tracks. And, I told you I'm going to the storage unit to dust off all the tailgate stuff that I hope is in the storage unit because I can't really remember putting it there. That's just things that day one. Yeah, and then we just roll on from there. Tomorrow's going to be, it's a quieter tailgate. There's no band playing. We're just working out the kinks again. And, my wife will be mad because the garage will be full of tailgate stuff for the next 8 months. And, whatever,
I'll ask you this because last year was kind of the first year of the improvements and the adjustments and all that, and it felt better every time I popped through there, whether I was going to enjoy the game just as a fan or when I was working them, and the vibe was really good. How did you like last year's move over to the other side of the parking lot, and What else are you looking forward to that you guys maybe worked on a little bit?
It was good. I liked the move. I loved the vibe. Like didn't matter where you were in our corner, which was I'm going to say the front left corner, or you go to the back right corner, stall 200. It didn't matter. First of all, if you could get there in the 2.5 or 3 hours, you were lucky because there's so much fun happening. But just the whole vibe, it was different. And I think, the vibe of maybe who the new owner was, we didn't know at the time, and then with the announcement of Larry and now getting to experience, 8 months, some of the things he's done, I'm sure we'll talk about. But this week was a great week for the Edmonton Eskimos / Elks.
Yep.
And I'm so happy that we can say that again. And Dwayne, that's just so awesome. Anyway, so back to tomorrow night. I can hardly wait to get going, and see people that, we get to see during football. I don't know any of their names, but hug them anyway. It's the best part of it.
My parents. That's funny you bring that up because my parents, they love to go to the games. My dad always has. And his favorite spot he found, I don't know whose tailgate it is, but it's close to yours. But he found the Italian sausages.
Oh, yeah.
With it's like a great deal. I think it's like $5 or $10.
Yeah, that's the Tassoni family that does that.
Okay, is it?
Yeah.
Matt Tassoni's one of.
Well, I know Dom and the family.
Okay,
Yeah,
I bet Taz is involved somehow. But he's like, it's a Italian sausage. Like I gotta get it. He's like, that's my favorite. And then, but then you see my mom's walking around with pierogies and kupasal, like a good a good Polish lady would.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of everything there, but my dad's like, great deal.
Yeah.
You got a salsicha and a beer. What a deal. Here, go get one. So I'm like, I have my own money. I'll go get one. Like, don't worry.
Yeah. We're doing pork tomorrow night. Pork on a bun.
Delicious.
Pork on a bun. Our friends from Olson's dropped off our 2-game supply yesterday. So
there he is.
Look who's coming in.
Boys save me the park chair.
They all do it. You gotta go sit down slowly.
Nice and easy.
Sit down nice and slowly, and you will be fine.
Oh, there we go.
There you go. Perfect.
Wait for it.
Dave in Section T, also known as Dave McKinnon. He is now joining us in the Hangout. The crafter of these delicious
amazing
burgers. As he settles in, round of clicks for him.
Well done, Dave. Well done.
It's a perfect. There's no better breakfast, I think. Sluice juice and burgers.
I had to crush one, so I was late because I couldn't go with just a breakfast of Bohemian and 6 o'clock or lager.
Oh, why not?
That sounds like Lieutenant Eric's.
I knew I was going to.
Man, you'll never make a Spirit of Edmonton.
Yeah.
I knew I was going to be having a sluice juice, and this show goes till 11, so I didn't want to fall asleep in between.
I do know Elks Herd will be in the tailgate tomorrow.
Jay and Andrea?
I don't know. I don't know if they are. I didn't see.
I'll probably see them tonight.
But the Elks Herd yesterday announced their menu for the year. Tomorrow will be Herdy Dogs, and then I know Turf District last week announced their schedule for the year of their menu. I love that part of the tailgate too, where everyone like has the menus and they plan it out. Do you plan out your whole season?
We haven't made ours public yet, but Terry Cordy put a spreadsheet out as soon as the schedule came out for us all to fill in. But we got together at Garrett Dahl's house last week, and we roughed out the schedule, so we've got a pretty good idea. Yeah.
We're 24 hours. Like I'll phone Rob, my buddy, and I say, Rob, what are we doing tomorrow night? He goes, well, what do you want to do? I don't know, pork on a bun. He goes, yeah, I'll go get pork. So we're doing it. So that was yesterday. And on the June 19th game, actually, I'm in Fredericton until 10 o'clock that morning. I'm flying home.
Jeez.
I leave Fredericton at 6 in the morning, get home at 10:20, and then pick up tailgate stuff. So who knows what we're doing on the 19th. I should put that on a schedule, though, because that would help.
I'll get Terry to send you a spreadsheet. He loves doing that.
Excel.
He'll probably do it for you.
Actually, just give us the week ahead of you guys, and we'll be fine.
You know what's wild, though, is it feels like this is like, it's like a rock rolling downhill. Like the momentum's picking up here, and it's getting more elaborate. People are trying to outdo one another. Honestly, and it's starting to, and listen, and we know the NFL and college football, it's been decades old tradition, but and I know like we're just starting to ramp up the tailgate, but it feels like it's really picking up that sense of community. You guys are doing GD Excel sheets for the weeks for crying out loud, like.
You know, the only bad thing about moving is we were next door to each other. We were neighbors for years in the old spot. Right. And now you guys are a couple rows behind us.
Yeah, I was late to the party. Garrett is our OG tailgater, and then Brent joined him.
Yeah.
And then Terry and I joined the same year. But the first year I joined was the second last year at the old location.
Okay, yeah.
I came in late in the season, and we were right by the stage.
You got the stage right in front of you.
I forged a tailgate pass to get that spot because I knew it was open, and there was only one game left. I made this elaborate forgery, and they just waved me in the gate without even checking it. I like made perforations even because I thought they might tear the bottom off. And I rolled in and parked next to you guys, and then I got that spot the next year.
Yeah,
and
it's
a lot of fun. Like I said, you guys just have to walk a little further for Sluicer Sacks. I'm heading over to the Costco Business Center right after this to pick up the to-go trays that hold 4, so that when you guys come over and the Thrift District guys come over, Kayla comes over, and I can put 4 in it to go, and then she can take it back to her.
Nice.
Because that's the nice thing to do as a host, right?
But it's those things, like all of a sudden, like everything that we wouldn't think of. It's not just, hey, guys are grilling. Guys and girls are grilling and there's music playing. It's like, hey, do you want a bite to eat after? Here's a to-go thing. Do you want this? You want that? What do we do with our leftovers? Like, it's become a very elaborate, well thought out, well-oiled machine, if I may. Yeah. And that's the cool thing about it. And to me, I remember my first Arizona Cardinals tailgate. They had a chili cook-off. We do a chili cook-off here. And it's become a big thing. I know there's a lot of pride that's involved with it, home style or traditional.
Home style all the way.
Yeah.
No, traditional all the way.
Oh,
yeah,
no beans.
But no beans.
Manny.
Thank you. That Dave knows.
Yeah.
He's also the winner of the best burger.
I podiumed last year in chili.
See?
I podiumed
with no beans. I made a chili there. People enjoyed it. There was no beans.
I don't know if any of the top 3 chilies used beans.
Ah, interesting.
Be interested to check.
Interesting.
Scope.
Yeah,
I like beans.
That's cool.
I can eat it without beans. I have no problem.
It's chili with like beans
chili.
at that point then.
Yes.
Whatever. Anyway, it's starting to really take off, and obviously people are catching on. So that's a credit to you guys for building this bad boy up.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a great year.
Okay, we mentioned the burgers. You have the banner in your car.
Yeah.
You won the best burger last year.
I won bragging rights, so I guess I get to brag. But it was the Labor Day Classic. It was a burger contest. They selected 7. We had to write in an entry to get selected. There was 7 of us selected, and we had to use sponsors' product. Last year was Save-On, so we had to use the same prime rib burger. And so then if you're using the same burger, it's going to be a condiment contest.
Yeah,
and you got to focus on the bun too. So that's the homemade bun with the double E on the top.
How did you do that? That's the first thing I noticed.
It's just an egg wash, and I just made a stencil out of wax paper, and I just dust it with sprinkle on.
Is it sesame seeds?
Sprinkle on the poppy seeds.
Poppy seeds.
Yeah, poppy seeds on there. Yeah, and
it's perfect.
Yeah, but all the other components other than the burger, that burger's Acme beef mixed in with my own elk. So
you harvested an elk, did you?
I harvested an elk. Yeah, and
nice.
I have to. Do you still do that podcast? I missed it. I knew you were.
It's a national show. Thank you very much.
I knew you were a hunter. Sorry, I knew you were a hunter. I've heard of it, but I never had a chance. Well, I want to be.
I host. Yeah. I have all the camo.
Yeah,
they give me camo and gear every November. But yes,
but you do with Jason Moss.
With Moss. Mosser's on there. Louis DeBrusque is on there. Ryan Kohler, obviously, he's one of the founders of Wild TV, and it's fun. I've learned a lot.
I've got to watch it. Yeah,
it's a great show, if I do say so myself. The host, he needs a little bit of work, but the rest of it's great.
So I love the fact that you put the opium seeds on top just to entice the judges.
Well, I was about to say,
the judges.
I just say with the Popeyes and stuff, like the poppy seeds. That's careful driving home and don't get pulled over on that one.
Yeah. So one team they gave shots to try to influence the judges, but our takeaway for the judges was these cookies that Lisa Dahl made, and she's got one of those cookie decorator things. Yeah. So she had like double E, she had an Elks logo cookie and a CFL cookie. Everybody took our. Some people left the shots behind, but nobody left that individually wrapped cookie. They put those in their pocket or ate them there. Yeah, that was a nice little tip there. Lisa came up with that idea.
It's
a team effort.
Everybody gets involved. Everybody has little ideas, and they want to contribute. And I don't think anybody says no to things. That's another kind of cool element of it.
What's really neat as well when you're the vibe we talk about at that tailgate.
Yes.
You talk to the guys from Tallboy who are up on stage, and they see it from the other angle, right?
Yeah.
And Curtis and the guys will come up and say, "I can't believe the crowd out there." Like again, it's from stall 1 to 200.
Yep.
And you can see people are watching from all over. They're on the hills, they're on the berms, they're enjoying everything. And this year we're not expecting anything different. It'll be a lot more variety of music. They're bringing in them being the Elks, bringing in different genres, different styles. So
Okay.
I think Tallboy's got 1 or 2 gigs this year up there, but it'll be different
Now-
every game now. So
I've got beef. Or to use a Gene Prince pun. The Alan Jackson experience, or whatever that
With
was.
Alan
last-
Jackson.
Yeah.
It's disappointing.
Yeah.
Trev got Alan Jackson here. Or you got to see Alan Jackson. It was great.
Their RV took up like a bunch of stalls, and
took
they were
all yours?
selling.
Took your stall.
They took our stall, yeah.
They got screwed. You guys did.
Yeah, I'm walking around going to go say hi to like Trev and Zach, and I'm like, what the hell is this? And like, I was put off by it.
I tried to bring you guys some food, and I couldn't find you.
The guys were like tucked away in the back corner, and I'm like, this doesn't feel right.
Yeah. I don't know if
was
that was well
off-putting.
planned. So
Nobody puts
Anyway.
baby in the corner. Hey?
Yeah, that's
Nobody.
right.
nobody.
But I guess part of the learning process with all this, and the other thing I do appreciate about the location now of the tailgate is no one's driving through late arriving, because I remember a couple of times Rick and I would be at the tailgate, and like an older lady, it happened to be a couple of older ladies at different games, just like slowly creeping through as the crowd parts.
Yeah.
Because they got to the stadium.
What
late.
is it this year now? 2 hours?
It's so if I
3
feel it's
hour?
like last
No,
year,
they changed-
it's
it's an
3
hour-
hours.
3 hours
You could
opens.
start, but you get an hour
No,
to
it's
get locked
different now.
in.
It's 90
It's
minutes.
an hour and a half now.
It's an hour and a half
I think
now.
they extended that.
Yeah.
That
So
was
they added an
good.
extra
That
extra,
was a popular
So
last
it's
year.
90 minutes. You can't drive in 90 minutes before the game.
Okay, good.
It'll be
Oh,
shut
so they've
down.
given an extra 30
Extra,
minutes.
which is good because, like those, again, you've got a 9-foot by 18-foot parking spot, and you've got a 10 by 10 tent. You're encroaching on everybody. Everybody's encroaching on everybody, and you're also bringing out into the aisles. So once an hour and a half before the game rolls around, there's no way anybody can move.
Good.
Drive a vehicle through. So
It's a good
Yeah.
adjustment.
Yeah.
It's good tailgate etiquette. Just say, don't nail down your tent in that first hour.
No.
'Cause when people are coming in, like sometimes people have tried to get in like 20 minutes after, and people just stare at them with their lawn chairs in the middle of the road.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, just be portable for the first. Be portable for the first hour, and then lock her down.
Those 10 by 10s in the 9 by 18 foot stall, you can wriggle them to
No, you
make.
can't.
You can't wriggle them to make them
you need
fit.
good partners.
Okay.
You need good neighbors.
Okay, I
and,
see.
We're lucky enough because we have a berm, so we can adjust ours and move us over to the berm. And then
see.
We also have K97, is next to us. So we work really well together, and if we don't, we have 3 tents. Between the two of us, we have 3, and if we could only put up 2, we put up 2. But it works well. Something else, another public service announcement: if you're using propane, make sure it's in a milk carton, like a plastic secure
A crate.
because security will come by and turn it off. It can't be tipped over. It can't be like that. So, and that's speaking from experience. And we got shut down. So you just be careful and make sure you bring that something to secure your propane tank in. It doesn't have to be locked into it. It just has to be something with a flat bottom on it.
I see.
So yeah,
Okay.
something just came to mind.
I had no idea.
Yeah,
The PSA of tailgating right here.
and red solo cups are the most important thing at tailgate.
You have a lot of those for some reason, Jerry.
Yeah, we need them.
Yeah.
We need them.
Yeah.
You see somebody walking by without one, you hand them one right away because we self-police each other, and all the years, I think it's been 8 or 9 years now.
Yeah.
Never had an incident. And that's why the best thing about the CFL fan is the respect that they have for each other, and that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you go. We see it at Grey Cup.
Yeah.
We bring in the uniformed security and police at every Spirit of Edmonton room. We've never had to use them, but it's the optics. But usually by the end of the night, they're up on the dance floor and they've got a girl in their arms and they're having fun, and that's the CFL fan.
That's a good vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't want anyone to ruin this. Have a good time, but let's not end it in. So the red solo cup's a nice one. It's a nice touch for that too.
And you guys deal in bulk, so the red solo cup's acceptable. But over at our tailgate, it's all green and gold.
Yeah.
Ah, I
nice
see.
touch.
The red solo cup will get you jeered.
See what you did there, Dave. See what you did
Wow,
there.
no sluice juice for you.
Like I say, dealing in bulk, you can't get
Yeah,
that.
you're
You
right,
can't.
yeah.
You can
We
only
go
you can
through-
get the red solo cups in huge.
Yeah, 250, and we go through a pack a game.
Oh yeah, so you got to go. You got to go red, but you know, on the scale we do, yeah, we'll give someone with a red cup in our section.
It's a green and gold
Here,
there.
but it's
Yeah.
totally
I
acceptable.
use green.
what you
I
guys
use the
do.
green and gold cup because I know everybody else has red. So
I've been using this bad boy a lot.
Yes.
you know the only thing with this, when it's plus 30 out, you put a beer in it, it
It's
gets
hot.
as hot as the sun.
Yeah, that's true.
So you really have to guzzle quickly.
yeah. Hey,
That's not a bad thing.
on a day like today where it's gonna be
Yeah.
plus 30. Another thing like self-policing and everybody kind of being respectful of everybody else. One thing I noticed is like the garbage pickup is pretty good too. Everybody kind of does their part.
Yeah, and that's on us this year as well.
Okay.
They do supply the bins, but clean up after yourselves and take it over to the bin.
Yep.
You know, don't leave it in the parking lot.
Yep.
And respect the security. Like, there's City of Edmonton security, not Edmonton Elks security, but
Right.
just respect them. If they ask you to do something, smile and say yes. It just makes it so much easier for all of us, and it makes it easier for them in the post game meetings that they have. Mm-hmm. You know, I've met with them after the game and talked to them, and sometimes it's us. You know, sometimes that guy at the Spirit of Edmonton, which is probably me, you know, was kind of being a prick, and you know, so I had to clean up my act a little bit. But you know, that's lesson learned. So that's all. Just be nice.
Yep.
That's all.
They have zero control over letting you in. They get their call
Yeah.
from
Great point.
maybe from the team or whatever when to open those gates. And last year there'll be a lineup
Yep.
now to get in. You know, so tomorrow it's 4:30 start. I would assume people are going to start showing up at 4 or even 3:30
Yeah.
maybe. But preseason might not be as early. But last year people were showing up an hour in advance, and they're getting kind of antsy in the lineup, and
But it's not our parking lot.
they get the call ahead, and as soon as they get the okay,
Yeah.
they open the gate.
The aquatic
It's
center's
not
still
on the
open.
security
There's
guys
still-
to let you in.
There's still private
Oh, yeah.
parking in there until 3 hours before the game. So that's why I was called out, because I was one of those guys going, "Come on, let us in," you know,
Yep.
and then realized that it's not our parking lot until 3 hours
Community
before the
facility too.
Yeah, the
Even on
facility
game
is
days
still
for
open.
a certain
So-
amount of time. Yeah.
game. Yeah, so those are things that everybody has to be cognizant of. You know,
It's a good reminder.
Jason and Andrew are in there tomorrow.
I thought so.
Andrew says stall 149 for anyone that wants to come say hi. Where's the other one that I just saw? Somebody was saying, "Oh, Michael, I've never been to one of these tailgates. It sounds like something I need to tap into." Yeah. It's funny just how much discussion that goes around tailgate, and I will point out to what I think it was Chris Edwards, who's the producer with TSN, said. I
talking to
think
Eddie
it was him last year at one point said he believes the Elks have the best tailgate now in the Canadian Football
good.
League.
It's nice to hear.
He's going around. He's like, I think this is the best one. Like, and he sees them. Like, he goes across the Canadian Football League, and his belief was, Edmonton's number one.
Well, Dusty probably can attest this way better than me, but the few games I worked last year, they wanted to go into the tailgate to get shots of the party outside to really showcase it. So that's a testament to you guys. So and Eddie's an Edmonton guy, so he kind of wants to pop it up and promote it too. But I think when you have those visuals, it's mostly mature crowd, but there's kids in there. They're getting a taste of it. It's a way for them to kind of get involved and feel the green and gold and understand the tradition and the passion there. So I've seen that. I've heard them talking about it in the truck, and I'm assuming that's only going to continue. Also, that leads me to this question from Bruce. He says, I have a question for you guys. What is the protocol for fans attending? I sometimes walk through but feel very guilty if I take any of the food without paying for it. Do you always take donations?
We have a donation box, but you're not obligated.
Mm-hmm.
You will get a stare down, but you're not obligated. No. It's like I say, we rely on those donations. Tailgates aren't cheap. You guys know that. Like they're, well, we feed, between us and the Sawmill and K97 guys, it's hundreds of people.
Yep.
And without the support of Molson's, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. And but yeah, so donations are always appreciated, just to help out.
Yep. You guys aren't
But if you
making
don't-
money off of this.
if
This
you
is
don't
not
have
a
the wherewithal
profitable
and you're
endeavor, right?
No, there's no money being made.
Yeah,
at all.
exactly. So if people are thinking, oh, these guys are running a business on the side.
No.
It's nothing like that.
No, but just come by and say hi.
Yeah.
Just come by. Come into the tent. Like I see that all the time and you guys probably do too, where there's people kind of wandering outside looking in, and I just go get them. Say, come on in. And if they have kids, we don't just supply the Molson product. We've got the pop and the water, and we've got things for the kids as well. So, it just come in and say hi. That's easy.
It's a street festival kind of thing,
And but I'm guessing like each spot, they're just different. Some people might it's their food. Other people are more open, but it's just having conversations with people and just saying hi. Maybe if they offer. I guess is that how it kind of goes?
It's with the Cordy clan, it's pretty big. We feed about 40 to 50 people a game. A game
you guys
anyway.
have a good setup.
And I think Brent's on the record as saying, just come on by, say hi, we'll give you a beer. So you can grab one of Brent's beers by saying hi. But I would say you're welcome anyway. There's no free beer. We've had a couple people going through coolers like, hey, what are you doing? I'm looking for the free beer. Well, there's no such thing as free beer. Someone's paid for it. But if you showed up with a 6-pack, you could eat at our tailgate, I'm sure.
Yeah, and we're the same. We actually
throw something in the cooler.
Yep.
Feed up.
Yeah, we have people now. The first time we did it, we just opened up the coolers and they were gone in half an hour. And then we realized, we're feeding a bunch of people not going to the game here.
Yeah.
So now we have people on staff that are monitoring and we'll ask Tommy, how many more beers do you need? And make sure you get it. And,
None.
So that's the famous.
Well, I think my brother became fast friends with you when he realized you would get him a couple of pregame pops.
Yeah.
Paul Gazzola will mooch off of you till the day he dies.
I'm looking forward to seeing him.
Yeah, he's excited. He's like, so you're working these games now. Can I have your tickets? And I was like, oh my God, well, maybe, yes.
Yeah, he's another one. He's funny. I like Paul. He's always lurking on the outside till we make eye contact.
He's very shy.
And then he sees me, I go, yeah.
He's like, Gerry. Yeah.
And then he looks behind and there's 17 friends behind him. Like, oh, you want 17, Paulie?
Yeah, well, he's friends with the Dyke family too. So him and Alex grew up together. So he tiptoes around, and then people were like, "Look at that sad-looking guy. Come here.
Yeah,
come to us. We'll take care of you."
Mr. Dyke, Rob Dyke, is a good friend of mine, and he's my tailgate partner. He does all the cooking, and I do all the hosting and serving. And
they're awesome people.
They are great people.
They are super awesome.
People.
This is the EST Hangout presented by Sentinel Storage, Canada's storage experts, more than 2 decades at helping Canadians through life transitions. Canadian storage provider by Canadian. Check out their savings, savings in full bloom, which we got a couple more days left of that one. 50% off 12 weeks on all units, 75% off 8 weeks on 5x5 units, or 4 weeks free on selected units. Again, sentinel.ca. Also, portions of this hour of the EST Hangout. They're brought to you by the Hive Product Marketing, official merch partner of Edmonton Sports Talk. Promotional products that bring the buzz. Check them out at thehiveproductmarketing.com. We've got Benny on the other side of the camera. We've got Tommy, Matt, Gerry, and Dave with you here on the Hangouts. Okay, so just Elks, how are we feeling about the season for this club? Where are we at?
I'm smiling already.
Okay.
I've been smiling since Grey Cup, actually. Yeah. When, what a league where you can, be walking around Grey Cup and then you get to talk with the owner.
Yeah.
I got approached by one of the volunteers, was a Toronto fan. He opened up his volunteer shirt and he opens up a Toronto jersey and says, "So what's wrong with you guys?" And I was just like, "Hey, it's all gonna be great. Looking good, new ownership." And I was talking, "Hey, we just got a new president and Chris Morris, and who walks around the corner right then? Chris Morris." And I'm with the Golden Bear football alumni as well, so I know Chris working with them there. And Chris comes over, gives me a big hug, introduces me to the owner, and I got the scoop on the fire truck.
Yeah,
so
nice.
You mentioned yesterday the new fire truck livery coming out, and
I love the.
So
livery.
I heard about Larry. Yeah. Larry tipped me off to the livery on the fire truck before it had even been repainted. So. Refurbished, so
because it kind of just sat in the southwest corner up in by the knothole gang.
Oh, was it on the concourse?
Yeah,
it was there.
That's where it was.
I
didn't know where it went.
Yeah, the knothole gang area, where the kids' zone.
That's where it was.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, that's where they put it.
He's gonna take out a lot of football players with that thing.
Yes, it will. It's big. It was a fire truck.
But looking forward to the season. I'm glad we're all pretty happy in the Cordy crew to have Mark sign this extension. So
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
exciting stuff.
Yeah.
And Trey Ford, and yeah.
You know, it's funny. I was in a meeting yesterday with the gang, and Karen Kondowski, one of my favorite employees there, is sending me a bunch of text to read out today.
Yes,
I will,
yes,
Karen.
good,
I'll get-
good.
But as I'm sitting there waiting for Evan and Chris, Fajardo walks out, and he goes to push the door, but it's one of those automatic doors, and it won't open for him. And I look at him, I go, I hope that's not your throwing arm, Chris. Cody, I hope that's not your throwing arm. And he struggled, but he got out okay. But no, it was good. I'm really looking forward to this year. The whole, like, our group is, last year when I was here, the first question was, are you guys going to Winnipeg? And I said, I don't think we are.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm happy to say that we're going to live long.
Nice.
We have a new partnership that we're going to announce in the next week or so.
Excellent.
That will keep the spirit going. And we're happy.
Oh, that's even better news.
Yeah, it's great news. So that's why we're looking forward to everything. The spirit's going to be bigger and better, going forward. And the season, the players they've got, the people they signed, the coaching staff, everything. To have Herv back in the GM's office and meeting with Chris. I don't know if you guys have met with him a lot. He's just the nicest guy. He's always smiling. He's always got good news. And the announcements they made this week, man, brings back just the fact that we can talk Eskimo again.
Yeah.
And,
I was gonna ask you and Dave, like, does it feel like a lot of wrongs are being righted, and ones that maybe were a long time coming, like having Dwayne come back for his 50th?
Dwayne's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thrilled to hear that.
The fact that we can wear our Eskimo gear to a football game now and not feel bad about it,
Feel
or slighted
dirty
by
about it.
anybody.
Yeah.
Like, that's important stuff. Like, we wear, like, I have a Taylor Hall jersey that I wear to an Oiler game. Well, who cares? We should be able to wear the green and gold. That's what it's all about, and to wear, like, my AJ Gass or my Matt Dunnigan uniform, like, that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm happy with all these changes and the product on the field. I think it's going to be 10 years.
That's a big
10 years
thing.
to the day in Winnipeg that we won a Grey Cup.
Good point.
Not saying.
Well, I
Full circle.
they won in '93. They waited 10 years. They won in 03.
Yeah.
And it was 05. They waited 10 years to get to 05 or 15. Now you wait 10 years for 25. So I think 25, 27.
Yeah.
Book it in.
Yeah.
Elks are winning the Grey Cup in years 2025 and 2027 based on that pattern right there.
I did put a little sprinkle on them this year.
Did you?
I did.
Jay
got me going.
Well, Jay has the parlay, which was it 9,700?
It was 9,800.
I think for him
Oilers and Elks.
it was Oilers Elks.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oilers Stanley Cup, Elks Grey Cup. I think he got it 9,700 because I said that we should have got it to 9,702. McDavid, Trey Ford to combine the two because it was just that close. So I think he got 9,700 at one point, but it's like, and now the Oilers 5 wins away from doing it. But it does feel good for this Edmonton Elks team of just what they've done. If Trey can be the guy, if he is, and I believe he is, I like that offense. I'll just start there. You've got 2 solid running backs that are different, so you can attack in 2 very different ways.
Yeah.
You then got Trey's legs on top of that, so you got 3 different running options. And then on top of that, you've got a solid receiving core. Alexander Hollins is a stud.
That was a great get.
Stephen Dunbar was a top 5.
They have 1,000 last year.
He was over 1,000 last
Yeah.
year. I can't remember where he finished. He might have finished higher than top 5 when it comes to reception yards. Now, it was spread out a lot across the league, but he was still top 5 or whatever it was. And he still have Curly Gittens Jr. Like, if that offense gets run, then you got Jordan Maximic as the mastermind behind it all. If that offense does actually live up to even 80% of what we think it could be, I don't know how you stop them.
And they've got a Grey Cup winning quarterback as backing up.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's comfortable. It's
2
comfortable
years
feeling.
removed, 3 years removed from his Grey Cup. Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels good. Like, it's almost like it's too good to be true. Hopefully that's not the case, but
No, it's just back to good old Edmonton football.
see, thank you. I need a refresher on
Yeah.
that because
Yeah.
I do remember 93. I was 7 or 8 years old, and then obviously 03 and 05, and then 15 certainly. But Maddie's right. Like, it's been a tough couple of decades.
Yeah.
You guys know,
Yeah.
Since 05's Grey Cup, after that, it's 06 to now, they've had hosted 3 playoff games.
Yeah.
And I've been a season seed holder since 06.
Well, so you're the problem.
Yeah. There it is. But I've been saying it now for
just
the
kind
last
of rolls
3 or
over.
4 years, where we can bring the
brought it
happiness
on
outside the
myself.
stadium.
Yeah,
What they do inside the stadium.
Yeah.
That's up
we
to
don't know,
them.
but
Yeah,
now-
exactly.
No,
That's not
now
your
I think
fault.
we're going to be heading in happy and leaving happier. So
Perfect.
But that's like it's just there hasn't been enough home playoff days, and that's we had Chris Morris at the start of the Golden Bear season last year, sitting right where you were, Dave, and we were talking about the double E, and he just like the history was it wasn't about playoffs, it wasn't about even home playoff dates. It was about did you win the Grey Cup or not? That was the standard.
yeah,
And now we're looking at like, well, can you even have a home playoff date? Because you're not doing it. So hopefully, like, and the two best years out of that were with Ed Hervey. That's why I have a lot of hope about this right now, is because the actual outliers of this journey of the last 20 years, the guy who was the most successful with it, which was a Grey Cup success, is back. And I think he's not built this team the right way. I think he hasn't wanted to spend outside. He's wanted to put it down the spine. The lines, the quarterback, middle linebacker, like safety. He's gone and done that. And it look, you don't win on paper, but on paper, this team does look really good this year. And bringing David Beard back on the offensive line, that was a good offensive line last year.
Surprisingly.
I didn't think it was going to be solid.
We had our doubts. We talked
was
about it
worried
on the show.
At the start of the year.
Yeah. Yeah. Because Mark was at center, wasn't he? And then now
He's
he
at
can
left.
slide back over.
He's going to the left
Yeah, exactly.
because Gregor McKellar, he likes the right a little bit more. And I remember talking to Mark at Fan Day, and he's like, he's good either way.
Oh, okay. Well, perfect.
He feels
Good.
good either way.
That's all that matters.
But yeah, just him and David Beard back together, that little connection. But yeah, that O-line, like Ivy was the best defensive lineman last year, and
Yeah.
they're just added to that. They've bolstered it. So it's, I just can't wait for June 7th to get going.
yeah,
Yeah.
That'd be fun to be there.
Snoop Dogg's playing.
Snoop, yeah. That must be sold out. We were chatting earlier. Maybe they were going to open the Upper Bowl for that.
Oh, their
I think
tickets
they
are
have
up.
to.
Tickets
Yeah.
are open.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see if I can get any
If
tickets.
they're
right now.
over, you were saying 45, you heard,
I think they
Gerry?
were 45 like a week ago.
Yeah, because that BC place, I think, holds 53 or 54,000. So they have to be into the Upper Bowl
last
by
week.
now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I like what Omar Doman's doing there.
Yeah.
I like so far what's happening with the Thompson family here.
Yeah.
The Red Blacks seem pretty stable. The Palado with the Alouettes, talking to Jason Moss, he says it's very good, very stable. A lot of pride in that team, which is good because they had their owner issues. Sask is going to always be Sask. Winnipeg, I think, is always on firm footing as well. Was it Bob Young in Hamilton? He's got mega bucks, so everything should
He's
be
also
okay there.
sold part of the franchise to Stelco,
Do they have mega bucks?
They're a big company.
Yeah.
Okay.
So strongest ownership in the history, I think, of the CFL.
Yeah, I know the Flames and how they're handling the Stamps is interesting, but you're right. Like, strongest ownership group in the CFL ever. Use it.
Yeah.
Use it. Make it happen. I am encouraged by the salary cap going up. That's enticing to bring more talent up here instead of staying in the U.S., going to something like the UFL or whatever. Good.
Yeah.
More money for these guys because they put their bodies and their lives on the line when they play the game.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. It's our own game. It's our own league, and
Exactly.
it needs to get strong, stay strong.
Yep.
So in BC, lower bowls virtually sold out. There's minor, like single seats here and there, a couple of pairs here and there. Upper deck, it's now down to the end zones. One end zone's virtually sold out. The other end zone, it's like the upper half of the section.
That's got to be
Still
like
has
the
tickets.
stage side or something.
Yeah, and those tickets will start getting eaten up as next week comes through and they get closer to, and then you'll just hear more people go, I want to go see Snoop Dogg. Oh, there's not a lot of tickets, so it's going to be a fun one. Also, Stephen Dunbar was 4th in receiving last year.
Nice.
Just a quiet pickup for Ed Hervey. Like, that wasn't,
Yeah.
because that wasn't even the first couple of days of free agency. That was a little bit after, and so it should be a very good year. I'll still stand by this because I was looking at the schedule. I think they could still go 0-3 to start the year. I'm worried, but they'd still rattle off 10 victories.
Man, to win in BC in front of 45 or 50,000 people would be.
Yeah, but weirdness happens in BC at 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
I don't trust the refs.
And then
I don't trust. There's always something that happens out there that you go, oh yeah, this team, and whatever visitors comes in, they get screwed in some way, shape, or form on that Saturday 8:00 game out in BC.
But, you know, the Elks and Eskimos have always played well in BC Place. I mean, last year it was we lost that game that BC didn't win. You know, we gave them. Remember when we went on that 5 or 6 game losing streak where every team beat us in the last minute by missing
field goal.
Yeah, you're right.
Three
and
in
it was
a row,
the
4 in a
BC
row.
game that because I was there, I was all excited, and you know, actually it was funny because the Oilers had 1-7 over the Canucks. And I'm walking out and I'm wearing my Spirit of Edmonton, and I might have told the story last time, but it was funny enough to tell again. This young guy, he's about 19 or 20 years old, he's walking with his dad, and comes up to me and he goes, "Tough night, hey buddy." And I look at him and I say, "Well, son, would you rather have won Game 7 in a Stanley Cup final or lose Game 3 in a CFL season?" And his dad looked at me and laughed and said, "You got him."
Touche, good sir.
Yeah.
Touche.
Yeah,
That's funny.
yeah.
Love that.
Do you have any predictions for where the Elks possibly go this year? Too soon for you boys.
I don't like to predict. We're gonna have a great time no matter what.
I like
But
that
I
attitude.
think I'm definitely sure I'll be. I won't be able to take any naps in the second quarter this year.
Did you take a nap last year in the second quarter?
Yeah, it was sometimes the tailgate gets you get kind of tired at tailgate, and sometimes you know. There were some games where it was a couple of years ago where it was. Yeah, you could afford to take a nap and not miss anything.
Yeah, I would actually just stay out and enjoy a beer by myself at tailgate when I'd look at the score on TSN and go, I'm not going in there yet.
That Winnipeg game comes to mind. The one where Trey came back and they declared him the starter, and then it was a dud from the start.
Yeah.
I'm assuming, Dave, you had a nice little snooze during that game.
I had a snooze at the start of one game last year. There's photo evidence of me with a couple of ice creams asleep on my chest.
Oh, no. You've got a dog licking your chest.
I woke up to eat the ice cream, but I closed my eyes for a second and someone caught it on camera. So,
Oh, that's good.
but yeah, that was after a particularly Wolf did bring a margarita mixer to the tailgate.
Yeah.
So
Those will get you.
Yeah.
That sounds like a
love a good
Joaquin
mark.
Gage move.
it's got a little generator out there. We're thinking of getting one now. It's
wow.
like I said, the competition. It's like, well, they got a generator and a
step
margarita machine. Now we need a generator and a margarita machine.
Yeah, peeking over the neighbor's fence.
Yeah.
I don't even know. Like we're supposed to have a tailgate spot this year for EST. I don't even know
Give away like
You guys are
water
good.
and
Chips and water.
You guys are good. I
sunglasses.
keep an eye on the
I
boys
come
and
over
make
for
sure
the
that
water
they're-
all the
Appreciate
time.
it.
That's
Yeah, we
my
help each other out.
post game.
It was very nice to hear that the boys were having people protecting them and looking after them.
They're young boys. They're young boys, impressionable, scared sometimes.
I think I might have to buy a little bit more weights, but I did get some weights for 10s.
Oh, I always carry the extra ones for the boys, but that's okay. We'll
I've got a couple of. I don't know how much weight you need per leg.
depends on the wind, my friend.
Yeah, I know. I got 10 pounds per leg, and they lasted at fan day.
Okay,
So
that's good.
that's
We use 50-pound boat anchors for ours. Yeah, that's just because we've been victimized of heavy winds with
winds.
10 pounds. 10 pounds is just enough to twist the crap out of your. But anyway, we'll take care of them. I've got the other weights for the boys too, so
yeah. We gotta figure all that
Yeah.
out.
it will be good. Don't
Get the
worry.
logistics
We'll take
sorted
care of
out.
them.
We're excited because I think Bruce and the team at William Huff is helping us get a EST 10 all ready to go. Right?
Yeah, the proof's done. We exchanged the email last week on the pricing, and I was just like, "Yeah, let's do it.
Let's go.
And
Good stuff.
It was let's get it done because we probably should have got that done, but I
Make sure it's going
slacked
to
through
fit
the
in the
winter.
back of one of the boys' cars.
Well, that's something I have to discuss with the people here and be like, we've got to make sure that we have proper
It's a little bit bigger than last year's tent.
utilization, and it can't just all also be on one person to do it all. So
Yeah, good point.
yeah, but it's a great time of the year. I got my CFL draft next week. Elks next week, tomorrow, preseason game. I usually hate preseason football, but this year I just want to be around football.
Yeah,
I just want to be in
everybody's
the
looking
beautiful
forward to
weather
it.
tomorrow.
Yeah, it's going to be
think-
great.
That's my one. That's my one
Mid-20s.
that I can go and enjoy.
Yeah.
So I'll be coming by for whatever you're concocting tomorrow, Dave, and then Gerry, I'll maybe
Buy
drag
for
my
some
younger
Sluice and
brother
some
around.
Wilson.
And,
Oh, he'll be in line getting you a couple of freebies. Yeah, he'll be good.
you know, he make him useful for once.
Yeah.
We won't be there tomorrow with Edmonton Sports Talk. I will just say that out there. We don't
You're not
have
there tomorrow?
No, I've a chat on Monday about everything, and so we don't have a parking or we don't have our thing or anything. So it's tonight, busy night tonight. Hopefully, not a busy night tomorrow,
I'd like a nice weekend where we
but a
can
potential
focus on the
busy
Elks.
night tomorrow.
That would be so nice.
Yeah.
That'd be so nice to not have to worry about a Saturday.
Take care of business tonight.
Yeah.
Gentlemen's sweep in the morning, and then get loaded up for the tailgate. Get there early, set up.
Jeez, that sounds
bask in
like a
the
nice
glow.
weekend. My goodness.
The weekend to me, it just starts right now though. Like the burgers, the sluice juice.
Yeah.
A beautiful hot day today. Get through, like, enjoy your work day. Get to GCLD's Oil Stream pregame show tonight. Then you
Hudson's
got
Way.
Game 5. If the Oilers win, just the party begins. Gentlemen sweep tomorrow. And then really, what work gets done on a Friday? Right? Like, who wants to do work on a Friday? You go to the office, you celebrate the Oilers. Yeah, you take it easy, and then you head off to the Elks. You head off to Commonwealth Stadium, and you make this like a 2-day affair, and then it's the weekend.
Tomorrow's a long shift, right? 4:30.
Well, this is a long
7:30
shift
kickoff.
today because when's the
Yeah.
game start tonight? Is it a 6 o'clock?
6
start?
o'clock.
6
It's
o'clock
6:20-ish
start,
by
and
the
this
time
is
I
the earliest I've ever been
This could
tailgating.
be a double hangover day.
So
When did you guys start tailgating Golden Bears?
So 2 seasons ago, we had to do some guerrilla tailgating where they didn't give us parking spots, so we just got there and went whatever. Like I met some great folks tailgating at the medical examiners building
in the
there
parking
in the
lot there,
parking lot. But last year we got they gave us a section of the parking lot.
Nice.
And so we've got 12 spots there. We've got Spalumbos sponsoring and giving us sausage for the events. And we've got Big Rock supplying beverages.
Nice.
So, yeah. So we get out there. Usually it's 2 hours before games. And it's mostly alumni guys there. But, we'll feed the cheerleaders. And, the end of the tailgate, you're trying to get rid of some food, and the busload of students come by. Yeah, we'll probably throw a smoky in your pocket, as you head in.
Yep.
And so we've got that spot again, all set up again for this year.
Are there ever any conflicting games?
They don't conflict, and we had I think 3 double headers last year.
that's a
So
hard one, yeah.
so tailgate on Friday at the Bears and tailgate on Saturday, or tailgate Saturday and Sunday. So I think that 3 out of the 4 Bears games were double headers,
whammies.
and then for the playoff game we did a breakfast tailgate.
Nice.
So yeah.
Oh, man.
had the pancakes and sausage out there on the flat grill that day.
I'll get to that. There was going to be a breakfast tailgate this year.
Yeah.
On August 2nd, because it's a 1 o'clock kickoff on the
At 1
Saturday.
o'clock
Yeah.
start.
So there'll be that little brunch
Well,
special
that might be a
of the
that might be
tailgate.
yeah.
Was it Kayla that
remember
brought
what
the breakfast thing? Or who was it that brought, or was Scout had the breakfast that he brought over? That's the other thing too. I get spoiled. I'm lucky and I appreciate this. I get spoiled when I walk through the tailgate. I end up with like plates of food. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to look like a beast when I'm inside there. But I think it was Scout and Catherine. Whatever like egg thing that they made, I think it was like a breakfast sandwich, was phenomenal. Phenomenal. You know what I like about it the most? The food there is made with love.
Yeah, it is. It is. Well, it's truly a passion.
Yeah.
What we do out there.
Yeah.
All of us do out there.
Yeah.
Labor Day rematch this year. The Elks did announce this week with Spirit of Edmonton.
Yeah.
There is no annual dinner this year. That took place last year for the celebrating 75 years, week of the first home game. There isn't an annual. They're moving it to a Labor Day rematch brunch.
Yeah, we've been working on this now for a couple of months with the crew. So yeah, from 11 o'clock till 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. in Hall F at the Expo Center. It'll be the Sentinel Storage Rematch Brunch hosted by the Spirit of Edmonton and the Edmonton Elks. And we're happy to partner with them on that. Sluice will be pouring.
No kidding.
It's going to be, for those for those Edmontonians that have been to a Spirit of Edmonton breakfast, it's going to be a Spirit of Edmonton breakfast.
Yeah.
So for those of you that haven't, you got to come out and experience it, because you only really once every 10 years you get to experience what we do and how we represent our city. And so this is going to be the first annual, and we're really looking forward to working together with the Edmonton Elks and putting this brunch together. They're offering free parking at the Expo Center, and then there'll be shuttles back and forth from the Expo Center to the stadium.
Excellent.
And it's going to be tough. So that's a 5 o'clock start, so I'm going to be there for 2 o'clock tailgate. So there'll be some double shifting going on with
no kidding
with the Spirit Gang. But Production World is doing their production, and it's going to be top notch. So it's exciting.
I had the good fortune of the Spirit of Edmonton breakfast, and I'm like, what is this? And people are like, oh, you don't know?
Yeah.
Welcome. And it was just like a kid in a candy store. It was phenomenal. So I like that we're doing that Labor Day rematch.
And I've said this 1,000 times. I can talk for hours and hours about how much fun the Spirit breakfast is, but until you're there, you won't understand. Something else
Very
with
true.
The Thompson effect is they used to use this as a fundraiser for the team. Mm-hmm. This is now a fundraiser for charity. Everything that the Elks are doing this year, even their cheer extravaganza, their experience cheer program that kicks off in June. Go to their goelks.com website, and you'll be able to see that. But all the proceeds from all of that are going to different charities now. And the breakfast charity is Northern Alberta Football and the Indigenous Women's Football Team. So it's not going back to the club anymore. It's going back to the community, and that's a huge Thompson effect. Because like I said, the old days, this was a fundraiser to keep the team afloat. And now they don't need it. So every ticket sold and all the funds raised are going towards charities. So super, again, on the Edmonton Elks for doing this.
It's a far cry from where we were, again, just a year
8
ago.
months ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's huge. Everything they do,
Jeez.
It's nice to be smiling and talking about it. So
True.
Getting set to sweep the Labor Day series again.
I was in Italy last year, and I got to watch both games on my phone at 4 o'clock in the morning when drinking some fine Italian wine.
There are actual odds on Play Alberta. I was looking at some CFL odds yesterday. They jumped up a lot of props. There is one where it comes to season series, and they have Edmonton versus Calgary. What do we have here? I actually it's such a cool little. They did the rivalries.
I went and did some futures sprinkles yesterday on individual accolades and milestones, because Dusty gave me a hot tip on that one yesterday. So
actually, I also have to look. Jay wanted Justin Rankin added to MOP. He wants to bet on Justin Rankin as
and
MOP.
he was very adamant about it yesterday. He's like, no.
It's still not put up there.
Jay's on a heater right now, isn't he?
He's on
it's 5 straight.
5-day heater,
So for what do we got here? Yeah, here we go. Regular season winner, Elks versus Stamps. The Elks are the favorite, -164. And then you could bet on the actual how it goes. So the Elks winning 2 out of the 3 is +115. Stamps winning 2 out of the 3 is +162. For the Elks to sweep, it's +400. And the Stamps to sweep, it's +850.
Oh, you're doing a little sprinkle, are you?
I may have to go on. I may have to go on the Elks.
I saw you click it.
I'll click
Get
it.
that bet slip.
I got my $5 that I have still to use from when I used the Egg 50. I haven't used the actual $5. I may have to do that one just because it's hard to They did it last year. It's hard to sweep Calgary. When you're playing through, it would be hard to get the sweep. But I think the Elks defense is also just going to be, once they find themselves with JC Sher calling that defense, I think that's going to be an aggressive defense. And I'm just very bullish on the Elks right now.
What's the word coming out of Calgary? Last year I went down to Labor Day Classic. They are not happy. Fans were not happy in Calgary last year.
I don't blame them.
Yeah. You got to go to that dump, McMahon Stadium.
Awful.
It's not great.
It is not good.
And then, I don't know. I hope every team has their peaks and valleys, and I think Calgary's on their way down.
Yeah.
But they'll be back. And it doesn't matter how good or bad you are when it's Edmonton, Calgary. It's going to be a tough football game.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see.
They bring in VA, so they solidified quarterback. They've got some receivers. They got Dedrick Mills as a running back. What's their defense going to look like, though? And can Dave Dickinson get it going as a coach again? You know, I think there was a lot of Stamps fans down south that would have preferred Dave Dickinson just focus on GM and they promote Mark Killam to become their head coach. Instead, they let Mark Killam go. Yeah. And then the Elks go, oh, we're going to bring in Chris Morris and Ed Hervey. And then they go, oh, we'll interview this guy. No, he'll be our head coach.
Yeah.
So if things don't go well this year in Calgary, I think there'll be a lot more anger in terms of, especially if Edmonton does do well, of you let that guy go and he's up there and they're winning and we're still here. So there's going to be a lot of pressure, I would say, on the Stamps.
Well, who did you say if Dave Dickinson steps away from coaching, takes over? And I kind of laughed and snickered.
It'd be his brother, Craig.
Yeah.
Like unless
okay,
Dave Dickinson is getting fired,
right?
Unless he's getting fired as GM and his head coach. If he now steps aside as head coach, it's going to his brother. Which, and look, he was okay with the Saskatchewan Roughriders, got them within a game of the Grey Cup one year. He had Mark Killam right there potentially.
Yep.
And if it goes well here in Edmonton, that could go really bad, and nepotism might be flying high in that regard. This is the EST Hangout presented by Sentinel Storage, Canada Storage Experts. Live here in Edmonton Sports Talk, presented by Play Alberta. Download the app, playalberta.ca. Or just, download the app or head to playalberta.ca. It is an Oiler game day. Oilers taking on the Stars, game 5 down in Dallas. GCLD's Oilers pregame show. Hudson's on White gets going at 5 o'clock with Tommy. We got Lock Shop coming up. We've got 2 guys in a goal. EST Afternoons, Reed Wilkins Show with Jay Milne from 3 until 5. Do have some Oilers news. Ryan Rashog says, sounds like an excellent chance Ekholm plays tonight. The loss of Hyman is massive, but 14 is a huge presence in that locker room that they have been without, so his return potentially comes at a crucial time.
Okay. Well,
so that is the latest. When do the Oilers actually hit the ice?
they are supposed to be on that. It would be 11 o'clock right now in Dallas, so they should be just about to go.
11:30 is, so 10:30 our time is when they should be on the ice. So we'll keep update on more. This does continue to fall in line with everything Tommy has said, that if Ekholm's going to be good to go, it would be late in the conference finals. I would suggest Game 5 is late in a conference finals.
Last game.
Could be too late.
As
late as it gets.
Good point, Dave. Yeah. Positive vibes. I like it.
I think the loss of Hyman does it really came down to, do you put Jeff Skinner in or do you bring in Ekholm?
Yeah.
That's what it seems like it.
So who comes out on D though? I mean,
well, nobody if you're going 11-7.
You might go 11-7.
Yeah.
Especially with the fact that he's coming back from an injury, you might just want to. And you played last game with only 11 forwarders in the end for the most part.
Yeah, and knowing you can double up McDavid and Dry.
And try to throw off DeBoer with his matching and getting that last. If you have those guys going out every second shift, could tilt the scales. And you guys saw Friedman put it out there yesterday. If the Oilers get it done tonight, we're talking about June 4th, Game 1. So
That's late.
Oh yeah.
No, that's early.
June 4th is next Thursday, isn't it?
Yeah.
Next one. Next Wednesday.
So they wouldn't play this weekend then?
Nope.
Well, I hope they get it done tonight then, because it'd be nice to have a weekend off.
Yeah.
It's hard on this old guy. I don't go going every night. 'Cause I'm not taking nights off during the Florida series either.
Right. Yeah.
The only thing is, if the Dallas wins tonight, it'll start June 7th.
Yeah.
Which is the same night as Elks.
The home opener.
That is true.
Or, BC opener.
So they'll be out there. I don't know what would happen, because you have to look at the NBA schedule here, and I don't think there's any issues. I would assume they would stick with a similar schedule if it was June 4th. So to go June 4, June 6.
They're doing the 2 days between games.
On travel days.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, 4, 6, 9, 11, 14, 17, 20 would be how that Stanley Cup final.
Sorry, what was the last 3 days?
14, 17, 20.
Well, that works for the Elks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they're bye week 2.
Yeah.
So right there, they're
and
clear.
Then the home openers.
And then it's on
Thursday
the
night.
19th.
19th, right?
And if it's on the 7th, if they do play the exact same night that the Elks start their season, it is a road game for the Elks. So it's not like you're losing a home crowd.
Yeah.
And how it would look, I would presumptively, would project would be 7, 9, 12, 15, 18. No, I did that wrong. 7, 9, 12, 14, 17, 20, 23. So again, the Elks won't be impacted.
Yeah.
Unlike last year where that first home game had to be reshuffled around.
Yeah.
Oh, that game was crazy because I didn't do the pre, I did the post, and I went right from the stadium to the arena. That was a long ass day.
Yeah.
And we did the double shot. We had the Edmonton Elks post-game show,
Yes.
the Green and Gold post-game
That's
show, while we
right.
had a Green and Gold or Oil Stream pre-game show going.
That's
We had a
right.
double stream going at that time.
Well, let's get through tonight, and we'll worry about June.
That's right.
It's just great. Stingers, Riverhawks, Oilers, Elks.
Yeah.
It's a great time for the city of
Yeah.
Edmonton. So, anyone nervous about tonight's game in any way, shape, or form?
I just started talking about it and just started thinking.
I'm less nervous about the loss of Hyman because he went out early in the last game and they were still strong.
4 shots in the third period in a game that they had to win.
It's a good point by Dave.
Like that's their defensive game. They just bought in the whole team. Like, and you don't
Isn't
even
that
notice
crazy?
it. You don't even notice how well they're playing defensively. You're just going, go get a goal.
Yeah.
You don't need a goal when you're playing that well.
I noticed Boosh.
In a good way this year,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
this playoff series, and last round too, actually.
So Granlund's hit on Perry.
Yeah.
How do you cross-check a guy in the back at the blue line?
And not interference.
What was
at least.
that?
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like,
Yeah.
I still think I'm watching Perry and Granlund today because Perry's a vet. He
Yep.
knows that's not good.
It'll be
I don't think he's gonna let that pass.
You're gonna have to watch
Probably
because you
not.
won't
But
see
it's
it. You won't see it
it's
on
gonna
TV.
be the classic.
Yeah.
Something that doesn't get caught on camera. If it is, it's
Revenge is
obscured.
best served cold.
Yeah. but that's a good point. Like, people were all, I know in every series talking to our peers in other markets during the playoffs, and they're talking about the officiating. We're talking about the officiating. You go, like you just said, why wasn't that a call? How do you get away with that? And I keep saying, because you have to broach it at some point every couple of games. I just go, I literally have set the bar so low for officiating in the NHL that when stuff like that happens and it doesn't get called, I'm like, yeah, well, that's par for the course.
I don't even know what a penalty is anymore. You don't.
A lot of us don't
No.
either.
You just step on a guy's stick and it's a trip.
I guess
you touch
so.
the guy in the hands and it's a hook.
Lift another guy's stick,
that's it.
his own stick
own
hits
stick
him in the
hits him in the
face.
head.
Hits,
Yeah.
hits himself in the face
Yeah.
and you're gone,
Yeah.
but you get like a kidney shot
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
open ice
Or 17
when
cross
you're
checks
not
in the
looking
back.
like.
Yeah.
It's to that point, at least for me, where I'm like, okay, like I hate discussing it on the post game, but it does have it does factor in obviously during a lot of games. But I just say, guys, expect the worst and be pleasantly surprised when they don't have a terrible night. The officials crew. That's how I approach it. Other people, I mean, they don't want to. They want the best. It should be the best in the NHL. It just isn't. It's
Well, there's a
not
rule
good.
book for a reason.
Exactly, but I mean, they get a little loose with their interpretations, or they get spooked and they see something, but it really isn't like the high stick that wasn't really a high stick, right?
Yeah.
Like, and they call it and they can't review it, and
And it's both ways.
Yep.
I'm not just
Yeah.
being an Oilers fan here.
well, how about
It's,
Kulak
you know,
firing the puck over the glass and the Oilers
Yeah.
scored twice in 36
twice in 30
seconds?
Yeah. Even last game, there was a blatant trip. I don't know who it was, but in the background, you could see it in the slot. I think it was just before the Oilers scored the empty net, the first empty netter. And whoever it was from the Stars was going to get the puck and reached in and pulled him down. And the refs are standing here and, and nothing. We, like, my son and I just looked at each other and laughed. You know,
Okay.
like,
Yep.
we evened it up, I guess. I don't know. Like,
Well, yeah, Reed points out that he gets so frustrated. I sit with him at most games.
And Reed carries a pocket rule book with him at all times.
But he gets so mad because it's like
That
they'll
doesn't
miss
surprise me.
the egregious ones and they don't call the egregious ones, but it's the small tic tacs that they'll call. And it's like, why are you calling those ones, but you're missing these other ones? Like, it just makes no sense.
when you go for the puck and you're sticking your stick for the puck and the guy steps on it, that's a trip in the referee's mind. He's not even tripping him. He just.
Yep.
But at least they're calling that now.
As a
it's
player, that's got to be so frustrating because you kind of get a feel for what the referees are calling. Yeah, okay, this is the way the game's going to go. Mm-hmm. But then you get ticky-tack one after egregious stuff has been going. You kind of think, wow, they're putting the whistle in their pocket. They're going to let them play
Yeah.
with no rules. And then they call something that's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It just every time that happens, I'm just thinking refs being game managers.
Yeah.
Like that penalty will always go against the team that's up by 2 goals.
Yep. You know it's going to get evened up.
Yeah.
You know they're going to be looking.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that happens in any other sport, truthfully.
I think that's why so many people that follow other sports are frustrated with hockey.
Yeah.
And, you know.
Because in football, if you get called for 3 straight holds or whatever, it's not like, well, the other team's going to get some penalties coming their way. Like, I don't remember ever saying that watching football.
There's an offensive pass interference coming up next. No.
Yeah.
Right? Baseball, it's not like, well, this ref's going to he's going to call somebody out on a questionable strike in the next inning because this team's owed one. Basketball, I don't think. Well, it's the foul's owed the other way. Like in hockey, it's like I'll go to what would have it been? Game 3. Dallas was up 2-1 late in that second period, and one thing I was saying, is that if Dallas took that into the next period, they were getting the next penalty because that's how the game was going. Oilers had a few power plays. The refs were naturally going to call the next. We shouldn't be able to predict when the next penalty is going to be. Like who's going to get the next penalty?
Point, yeah.
If I'll still say this one, if one team gets 5 straight power plays in a game, I'm fine with that. If they are legit 5 straight, the 5 big infractions that are being called all came from the one side. But in hockey, the refs love this game management thing.
Is Connor Brown playing tonight?
No, he's out.
So they hit to put him out. Petrovic?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. Petrovic got him.
Can you see hockey ever going to a targeting rule?
Well, they do have the hit to the head. They
Yeah.
have that. And
They have,
But, like-
hockey seems behind to me, like CFL, NFL, college football.
College football is crazy.
Targeting's a thing, and concussions are a thing. And
Yeah.
in hockey,
yeah.
it seems like hockey's kind of behind on the concussions as far as other sports go. And that was a shoulder to the face that would have got you
And a late.
That's
a
a 15.
targeting. That would
It's
have
a
got you
15.
kicked out of the
Kicked out of the
game,
game, yeah.
in football.
They
But-
do have the hit to the head, but it has to be pretty egregious for them to call it.
Well, they would say that he was down, extending the pass. So his
Yeah.
It's
his-
like long
but
after he
Petrovic is way
last
bigger.
touched the puck.
I think it was a couple of steamboats. It really was.
At the least,
yeah.
it was interference.
Yeah.
But
But I just,
Yeah.
because there's that was a shoulder to the head that put a guy out for 3 games.
Yep.
Because that's concussion protocol.
I think
That
it
we
is.
believe?
They're not
He's
saying
gotta
what it is,
He's got to
but
be at least 7 days, I would
he
think.
did-
If
yeah.
hockey has the same concussion protocol,
It's-
football
it
it
has.
is
very
that.
similar. Yeah.
Yeah.
He did travel with the team, and I don't know if you guys saw. He did the lineup. He rolled out of the cupboard, gave the lineup, and it was actually pretty funny. So I think that's encouraging that he's
Yeah.
able to do that and not
read,
sitting in
yeah.
a dark room with pure silence. So probably should be good to go by the next round, or if this series does get extended. I would think that that's encouraging. But yeah, hit to the head. I'm with you, Dave, on that one. But Petch is a big guy, and Connor Brown's not the biggest guy. So it's just one guy bigger than the other, and caught him on a
So
late
it's
hit.
not targeting if you're taller and your shoulder
Well-
hits a guy in the face.
I mean, it's still a shot to the
There's a height disadvantage.
kisser, yeah, and it hurts and it rattles your noggin. So that's one of those ones where you're like, shoot.
yeah.
What's the one where it's in the CFL they have targeting with the crown, and then there's like the accidental where it's just by happenstance, and they don't call it as severely as targeting. I think it would fall under that category to make a football comparison.
Yeah.
Because if you're hitting with we had a rundown with the officials last week, and if anything's targeted and it's a hit to the head with the crown, that's you're getting kicked out. And I think is it 25-yard penalties now?
There are 25-yard penalties.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're fully for.
It has to be pretty bad to get one of those. But then it was brought up too, like sometimes it's just unfortunate placement, wrong place at the wrong time, and it's not targeted, not with the crown, then it is a penalty, but it's not as severe.
Have you ever seen an offensive player called for that hitting with the crown of the head? I know defensive coaches that coach with stuff. They hate that because it's always the defensive guy that gets it.
Yes,
but an
that's a
offensive
good
guy
point.
dropping his head,
And then Ryman.
I only
rushing
kind of
through.
recall it in the
I don't
NFL.
think I've ever seen it called.
I remember something in the NFL, Trent Richardson era. So 10 years ago or so? Because they wanted to put in a rule where they wanted to stop running backs lowering their head to try to plow forward. And I don't remember if I ever really saw it called much, though. But you're right. Like, the defense goes one way. We've always changed rules in football to benefit the offense. And I do feel bad for defensive players because we never put anything in place to help defenders, and it just makes their job tougher. And they're going to lose their jobs quicker and they'll make changes because, well, you can't defend this guy. But like now, and I understand why you can't hit lower than the knees in the CFL, I think, or knees are lower.
Yeah.
There's a more severe penalty for that now.
You can't hit in the head.
You get kicked out now.
You can't hit up, too high, and even if you hit shoulder, you got to be careful because if it looks like you're close to the head, the ref sometimes will defer to throw in the flag and then you get a penalty. So now it's like the tackle area is just shrinking more and more and more. and look, safety, I get it, but I also do feel for defenders because it's like, well, now where can I tackle? And
yeah,
I'd like to see the CFL call pass interference like they do in college football in the States.
I don't watch enough of that. What do they do in the States?
I'm curious
It's
which one.
Basically, you can hand fight and fight all the way down. It's rare that it's like standard. You're hand fighting all the way unless you flatten a guy when he's catching the ball. I mean, it's kind of there's a lot of contact. I don't like in the CFL when you go to the replay camera and if you touched him.
Yeah.
If you touch, you did touch him there. Yeah, you're both touching each other going down. And I think a lot of our receivers are Americans that I think they're probably used to those college rules. And I'd like to, I don't know, I kind of like to. I think it's more interesting game. I think it makes better for the DBs as well. And if the receivers know that's going to be called, I don't like the soft PI calls.
I hate those
late in the game.
Now, go ahead.
Oh, I didn't. There used to be. I remember growing up was that if the defender never looked back, you knew he was going to get a penalty.
Yeah.
Now it seems like the defender doesn't have to look back, and they could just make a play on the receiver.
Because you can't guess, you can't.
And that's if there's one thing I would like is the idea of I want to make sure defender should be able to know where's the ball, not just run like this and then smack them or something. I don't know. That's one thing I always remember growing up was just the defender didn't look back. You're like, oh, there's going to be a penalty, but now they don't have to look back and there's no penalty or something like that. I don't know what changed there.
One interesting thing with our meeting last week with the officials, last year was the lowest amount of penalties in the CFL in 50 years. And with the officials booth, the amount of penalties that were initially called that they said, no, there was no infraction there. They said the efficiency is way up, and especially after they reviewed it. So the CFL, to its credit, has made strides. It's not perfect, don't get me wrong. There's some calls where I'm just like, what are you guys doing? But they have made some pretty good strides. And that stat, that was the lowest amount of penalties in 50 years. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Because you see the flag, but a lot of those got rescinded, which is good.
Yeah, so that is good.
There is some progress there, which is because I found myself getting annoyed at NFL games and officiating a little bit more than CFL, especially after you hear there was no infraction on the play. Boom. Let's go. Let's line it up and snap it. In the NFL, you're sitting there and we're getting the 2-minute break and they're reviewing it, and you got freaking Joe, whatever, in the booth, the former official telling you what's this and what's that, and they still get it messed up. It's too convoluted. And feels like the CFL actually did take a step in the right direction.
I'm glad to hear they have meetings with you.
I know.
I just learned that.
It was very cool. I was just like, wow, okay, this is very thorough. They put a mandate on making sure that the game is entertaining but safe and properly called. And we sometimes it gets a little goofy on the field, and we joke around about which ref is calling what game. But I think that booth, the officials in the booth, has really helped them as well.
I think one thing that I'm impressed by, and it's worked out, was we used to have 5-yard, 15-yard, no-yard penalties. The ball touched the ground, bounced, it was 5. If it was caught, now it's just all 15.
Yeah,
I feel like we're seeing a lot less no-yard penalties get called. And now, because coaches can just coach straight up one way. It's 15 yards, whatever penalty. 5-yard halo.
Give him the halo.
It doesn't matter if it bounces, he catches it. It's 5-yard halo at all times. And I feel like we've seen no-yard penalties decrease quite a bit. I feel like there's less games where we're going, oh, there's no yards. Jay Milne has texted me in regards to the offensive players and lowering their heads and not getting penalties. Is I think the reason, in his opinion, that it isn't called on offensive players is because of quote-unquote expecting versus quote-unquote not expecting a hit. Offensive players putting their head down are expecting contact and properly brace. Defensive players can catch an unsuspecting player head-to-head and causing much more damage. That's the one thing that's what he believes. in that sense.
And he was a hellacious hitter for the Golden Bears.
That's what I've been. I saw he actually has
Showed us some of those clips.
he's got the demo.
Yeah.
And I was looking at some of them, and
Yeah.
he came in. He'll be the one to tell you he wasn't the fastest, but he made up the ground, and he would deliver a beating.
And the Bears were in a position those years where the safety was making all the tackles. It's not a great thing.
Yeah.
No, but you never want him to get
Yeah,
that deep.
very few got past Jay.
Risky defense. We got a text here. Speaking of what we've been just talking about, officiating both football and hockey, this one says, I don't understand the term game management. What the hell does that even mean? Want to manage the game, make the calls. I also hear you can't call everything. Ugh, sure you can. And then the players will actually adjust. The only consistent thing is the inconsistency. I thought Brown being in that cabinet was the concussion protocol. Great text.
Yeah, good text.
Finally out! Yay!
But the game management, it's become kind of a buzzword.
Yeah.
And I think it can
Tim
get.
Peel caused that.
Well, he did. He
He
your buddy,
exposed
but-
it. He's not the first one to do it. I have my issues with Tim
No,
Peel.
no.
That's known by some people.
Talked about it on Mike.
There was a hot
Yeah.
mic that caught it. He's not the one. He's not the first ref to do it.
Won't be the last.
He won't be the last. He's not the. He didn't create this. It's been going on, but he got caught. And so now that was the one that everyone goes to. That this is a thing. We've always believed it, but now it's these
Confirmed what we
refs
all
do.
thought.
Yeah.
Manage the game, and it's funny because it's like, well, they don't want to impact the game, but you're impacting the game.
Yeah.
Yes.
When you don't make a call, you impact the game. When you make a call, you're impacting the game. No matter what, refs, you are going to have a factor in this game.
Yeah.
So how about just follow the rule book and make sure that if you call a penalty or you don't call a penalty, you can point to the rule book and say it's an infraction or it's not an infraction.
Yeah.
This why.
Yeah.
And we can be like, okay, well, you're not impacting the game now as much because you're just following the rule book and it's the player's fault. It's not your fault. But you go into this game management, it's like, well, Dallas, they're down 3-0. They can hack and whack all they want because they're down 3-0. You can't put them down again.
Yeah.
They're trying to come back. And where's the Oilers? It's, well, careful. You're up 3-0.
Yeah.
You do something. We're going to have to even things up and allow Dallas to get back in this.
It gets so ingrained in us, like just knowing the game from a young age and playing it. You're just like, well, that's just how hockey goes.
Yeah.
And then when you actually take a step back and look, you're like, that's stupid.
Yeah.
That's not how it's supposed to be.
Yeah. Why shouldn't the best player in the world be allowed to
Yes.
score 5 goals a game?
That's
Absolutely.
the one thing about the NHL. They don't protect their superstars.
No.
They don't care at all.
No,
It's the behind the scenes stuff that it's not just McDavid. I mean, Crosby was going through it, and McKinnon goes through it.
Yeah.
If Dallas had a superstar, they would probably go through it.
So I got a couple more pieces of news from the Edmonton Oilers. I do have line rushes. I also have this from Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, from Ryan Rishaug. It indicates Ekholm and Skinner are in based off line rushes. So here are the lines from Daniel Nugent-Bowman. McDavid in between Nuge and Perry. Draisaitl in between Kane and Kapanen. Henrique between Skinner and Frederick. Janmark in between Podkolzin and Arvidsson. Defensively, Ekholm with Bouchard, Nurse with Kulak, Wallman with Klingberg, Stetcher and Emerson are skating together as a fourth pairing.
That's a 12-6.
That's 12-6. I know some people would be a little worried. Actually, on Oilers Live, I jumped on with those boys late yesterday. Ryan Lotzberg brought it up, and I saw somebody else bring it up in the nasty chat. Oh, no, it was, I think it was Archeology guy on Twitter. I saw him. There is one little concern that they have is how good Nurse has been with Stetcher. It's been hard to find someone that has played well with Nurse.
Yeah.
Stetcher has been one of those guys. So taking Stetcher out, and now you're putting Kulak with Nurse.
Yeah, but he
what's
plays
that
well
going to
with
do
Kulak
with
too.
Nurse and all that? But so it looks like, based off what we're getting from reporting from Dallas, 12-6, Ekholm, Skinner both drawing into the lineup. Obviously, Hyman's out, and Stetcher would draw out.
There's actually not a line that even worries me out of the 4 and 3.
Yep.
That's depth.
They have depth. They don't have AHL tweeners. They don't have young guys that are kind of just getting their first taste of late Stanley Cup playoffs. They've got solid veterans. They're old, grizzled, and have been through it to the point where they're sitting out a 1,000-game guy in Jeff Skinner. Like, I think that's pretty telling.
Yeah.
Now they'll have to change things over, refresh a little bit in the offseason, but that's for another time.
But even when they brought in Kapanen, they brought back Arvidsson, both those guys made big impacts right off the bat, and hopefully Skinner can do the same.
Is it too much to ask Jeff Skinner to play a responsible 200-foot game just for a small window of time?
He'll stand out tonight if he doesn't, because the rest of the team is.
Yeah, please play like an a-hole out there, back check your ass off. If you get a scoring opportunity, maybe take advantage, but we need you to muck it up for a couple of games here.
Yeah.
And I think that is reasonable, to me at least. Dave, what do you think?
He's had the opportunity to watch how it's done.
Touche. Well, I'll tell you what, Arvidsson was pissed off. You could tell he was an angry little ball of hate pregame.
Yeah.
He played that way. So, do it.
Yeah, and like I said, you'll stand out if you don't.
Yeah.
Like that would be
Good point.
an interesting locker room.
Yep.
Not even easing Ekholm into this lineup.
No.
Just throw him right out there.
He's a Viking.
You're going right on the top line or top pairing. You're with Bouchard. Let's go.
Bouchard's been playing good. Maybe he's carrying that pairing tonight. I can't believe I just said
Neither
that.
can I. Neither can I have another drink of Sluice.
How many have I had? What's in this coffee mug? My goodness, Gerry.
I got my wish though with Kane being on Draisaitl's line.
There you go. You like that?
Yep. Good. Give him a score. I think that line will be a little bit more offensive threatening now. So, and Captain's good, hard worker too. And then that Janmark Arvidsson Podkolzin line was doing really well before they wanted to change things up. So
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just buzzsaw, those guys, those three of them.
Buzzsaw's good.
Yeah.
Benny, how are you surviving your first sluice juice?
I finished it.
Shocking.
There's more.
Incredible. Yeah. Whatever's handed to me, I'll take it.
Wait till your next one.
It goes down surprisingly
Very
easily, doesn't
Very
it? Ben?
easily, but it catches you.
Wait, yeah. That's what I say. You gotta
This one again, as Gerry said, this one maybe a little bit of a stiffer.
not much. 6 ounces more than normal.
Yeah.
Jerry's getting that Costco-sized vodka.
No. Oh, no. I'm going to get a little shout out to my friends, Jeff Stewart and his friends over at Righand.
Yes, Rick
Jeff is
That's
the,
right, keeping it
the
local.
provider of the vodka for
Excellent.
Sluice. As a matter of fact, I'm going to see him this afternoon to pick up our supply of vodka for
All
Sluice
right.
juice. So,
Keeping it local. I like that.
yeah, we try.
Yep.
We try. So,
No, that's well done.
yeah.
Full community thing.
Yeah. It is. Yeah. Jeff's
you're-
been a big sponsor of ours
Jasno's
for
still
years.
helping you guys out?
Sorry?
Jasno's still helping you
Yeah,
guys out?
yeah.
Yes.
Johnny and I were together
Johnny.
all weekend. Actually, he works with me on the RV side of things as well. And when he's not, he's heading to Nashville right away to hang out with Garth and Trisha.
Of course.
And do his thing.
Yeah. So you gotta go do that.
But
So
yeah,
weekend.
Johnny's just
Garth's called
Such
him.
a great
or,
guy.
Was it Chris Gaines?
That I
that his
will
name?
only recognize him as Chris Gaines. I do not even recognize that 9 sold out shows banner, which should be down the hallway, not in the main arena. But whatever, Chris Gaines, sure. The other guy, not bad, but
Johnny DJ'd for us on Friday night out at Old McDonald's Resort for our RV Learning Weekend. We had a whole 150 people out there, and I introduced Johnny as being on stage with Garth Brooks, being on stage at the Grey Cup.
oh, that would get
Nobody
people very
needed to know that he
excited.
didn't play with Garth Brooks or DJ for Garth Brooks. He was just on stage with him one time with Garth Brooks.
He was there.
But you know what? You might as well pump him up. And so, no, Johnny's a great guy. Anything we need, whether it's spirit or RV related or anything, Johnny's just, I'll get it done for you. So,
I have one for you guys. Did you guys catch Paul Maurice yesterday with Rod Brindamore?
yeah.
I did not.
Yeah.
So long and short of it is, they had a long conversation at the end of the game. It got awkward, and they shook hands, whatever. And then they finally asked Paul Maurice about, like, what was that conversation about? And he goes, I don't feel like we need to be in the handshake line. And I was talking to him about it.
Coaches.
The coaches, yeah. And I'm like, this is weird. I feel like Paul Maurice is getting a bit weird here.
He just called, with what he said about Bobrovsky a couple days ago. He was asked about Bobrovsky at Parma. He said, I thought the last 2 goals were bleep.
Well,
You never see a coach call out their goalie like that.
Well,
in a way. And I know it was supposed to be kind of he was trying to joke with it or something, but still, it's like, I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, Brandon Moore's a player, wants to be out there with his guys,
And they've been doing it for
Yeah.
70, 80
So-
years. Like,
Whatever. If he wants to go. Don't dictate to the losing coach what he can and can't do.
yeah.
He doesn't want to look bad then, I guess, maybe, because hey, don't go so I don't have to go.
Do coaches always go in line? I thought
Yes.
Woodcroft did one right from the bench because
They go to the
kind
other-
of
That
had the
was just
cocky.
the other coach.
The
Yeah.
coaches and the coaches will shake, but
Yeah.
then they go into the line.
Oh, then
and
they
go
go
through
in
the
line.
line.
They go in
Yeah.
the line after they
Yeah.
shake.
Yeah, and then they shake
yeah.
again.
Listening to
some reason.
Filthy Booth this morning, he said, if the other coach goes, I'll go, but I wouldn't normally do it. But he said, I'm not telling the guy what to do.
Right.
If he sees Brindamore and Filthy Booth as coach and he's going to say, oh, yeah, okay, I'm going to go too. But
Yeah, go shake their hand. Like you just went through hell for 2 weeks against these guys.
yeah.
Oh, I missed. That they were empty net goals.
Yeah,
that's what he was going with. Okay, I thought he was actually ripping on some goals for Bobrovsky. Missed those.
Leon's body language brought up the
Shows how much I
Maurice
was watching
thing.
that series.
Says, I noticed Paul Maurice thinks the lineup is, quote, just for the players, but has no problem hoisting the cup in that same line. Yeah, I found it very odd. And there have been some instances this postseason where I generally like Paul Maurice, but I've sat there and I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, we're going off into La La Land here with some of this stuff. And I thought that was a great example of it. Like, go shake their hands. Now, Rod Brindamore has been a bit weird too.
In what way?
We didn't get swept.
Oh, so yeah, that was a couple years ago.
That was, but like it just like I'm listening to him speak now in these post game pressers and pre. Like yesterday, they're bringing it up with his conversation with Jackie Redmond, where he was talking about the refs and how he shouldn't complain, don't let them hit, and blah blah blah. And people are like, Jackie's getting disrespected. Jackie's getting disrespected. No, it's the heat of the moment. His team is looking to stay alive. He's an emotional guy, but now I'm looking at Rod Brindamore and I'm going, you say weird stuff too. Like, what the heck's going on here?
Did you see his quote last? Like, I saw a quote of him saying that like why we've done so well the past 3 years. I don't know why everything's so negative around us or something. But it's like, if your goal is to win a Stanley Cup and you haven't been able to do that, like, of course it's gonna be negative. Especially when you hadn't won a conference final game until this year.
Yeah.
You won one.
Yeah.
Like, that's why it's negative. It's not because, like, if you're expected to win the cup and you don't do that, and you struggle to, especially when the games get more at stake, of course there's gonna be negativity around it.
Right. You get that final sense of like, these guys are never going to do it.
Yeah.
And I think the Canes are there. And
Well, they've proven they are.
Yeah, well, exactly. But I don't know. And then Jackie had to go on there and be like, he did not disrespect me. But yeah, some weird quotes coming from the coaches out of the Eastern Conference the last little bit.
Maybe there's something from the Atlantic Ocean air.
Yeah, it
It's
must
just
be.
impacting them.
Yeah, something in the
It's
air.
good. Maybe they're worried about what's coming. Maybe the pressure of knowing the Oilers are on deck. Well, or potentially we're going to be on deck for Rob Brindamore. It's getting to them, and
Here's a
they're
good
worried.
text. Here's a good text. Paul Maurice says that the coaches just want the attention they get when they shake hands, yet Maurice always wants to be the center of attention during his press conferences. Yeah. Like, and then another text says Maurice was giving off serious Ron Wilson vibes recently. Yeah, Ron Wilson kind of went off the handle a little bit towards the end of his run.
was his last spot in Toronto, or did he have another job after Toronto?
I think it was Toronto, but I mean, Toronto can make sense.
Well, that's where I was going to go. I could see that Toronto would really mess with you, especially at that time when you're not winning football or hockey games. And
Maurice was there.
yeah, he was.
Yeah, it just, I don't know. I found it odd.
Maurice replaced Quinn, though. Is that how that went?
No, Quinn was replaced by. It was the early 2000s. Paul Maurice was still in Carolina, I think.
Did he do a Winnipeg stint too, Maurice?
Oh yeah,
That's where he was before
for a
this.
while,
So
right?
he
Yeah,
was,
yeah, he was there for a
if I can recall correctly, it was Carolina, Toronto,
Winnipeg.
Carolina, Winnipeg,
Yeah.
Florida.
Yes. Yeah. So I don't know.
Coach history. Here we go. Leafs history.
I feel like we're forgetting somebody in there.
Nope. Pat Quinn to Paul Maurice.
Oh wow.
Paul Maurice to Ron Wilson to Randy Carlyle, to Mike Babcock, to Sheldon Keefe, to Craig Brewer. But yeah, so that's where I think we're a little, Paul Maurice, he got the benefit of the doubt as the team had just made more recently we're in the playoffs prior to him. Whereas then Ron Wilson, you had the pressure of, well, now it's been a long time since you made the playoffs. Why aren't you making the playoffs? We'll see. It'll be with what do you expect? Chris Knobloch versus Paul Maurice, part 2.
Sure.
Maybe Paul Maurice is just going crazy, and I don't think Chris Knobloch's going crazy.
No, he's pretty calm.
He's one of the most calm coaches you'll see.
Yeah, and you get a good answer out of him too. He's doesn't beat around the bush. He'll tell you.
Just don't ask about injuries.
I don't
Beyond
know.
that.
Did you see that picture they showed Hyman in the hospital? With the 2 thumbs up. he obviously didn't break a wrist if he's doing this.
As an old photo.
Oh, was it an old
I
one?
believe that was
Okay,
an old
good.
photo too. Yeah,
Because I'm thinking, like, what the hell's the injury then?
that's what I was looking for too. I was like, oh, there's like nothing on
I'm
with
looking
that
for
wrist.
scars. I'm looking for pins sticking
And then
out. No,
I
there's
saw
nothing.
another tweet after. It's like, yeah, this is an older photo. I was like, oh, okay, that makes a lot more sense because hey,
Yeah.
I just love how that story broke here yesterday.
now you're
morning.
eating that burger.
Good to see you.
Did you get some sloosh in you? Oh yeah. Yeah, that's a good combo, isn't it?
He's got some color in his face. He's ready to go. Yeah,
It's a great morning.
the text with the story.
The brother's friend's dad
Yeah.
operated.
I guess we
It's
just
like,
have to phone the guy and find out how the surgery went.
yeah, that broke
brother's
about
friend's
45
dad.
minutes before you got the official word from the team
I'll still.
on the hangout.
My brother's friend's dad is operating on Zach Hine.
I just hope
So many people can't get in trouble for that one.
Yeah,
That's all. There's a lot of issues that actually come from that
I hope
news.
he's a really good surgeon.
Well, yeah, because if there's a hearing of that one, there could be.
Guess who's on my table?
Yeah, that one I was.
don't think that's how it's
I don't
done,
know if
but-
Dusty fully realized when he was talking about it, like this could cause some problems
We're
for some people.
implicated,
Yeah,
yeah.
like if this. Because if it is true, like I'm hoping it's wrong.
Yeah.
I hope that person made that up. Because if it is true,
It is a great.
We'll never know. That's the beauty.
that surgeon might
great
be in a
urban
little bit of
legend, though.
It
trouble.
did happen, but
Yeah, you don't
Anyway.
want that. By the way, the official drink, while we're having Sloosh Juice today, which is the official drink
Sociable.
of Tailgate, Sociable of Spirit of Edmonton.
I crushed
The official drink of the EST Hangout. It is the Finnish long drink legend in 1952. A drink unlike any other sparkling refreshment, real liquor. Longdrink.com/can is where you can enter your postal code and find a liquor store and establishment nearest you with the long drink. I wonder if any golf courses have ordered that one in. That'd be a drink I'd want on a golf
Maybe.
course.
Talk to Murray.
If you were at Rogers Place as well for the Stanley Cup final, they have the deal with OEG, so you can pick up the long drink when you are there. We've got about 15 minutes left here on the Hangout. Have we missed anything in terms of spirit that you want to get to?
no. Again, just the changes. Not with the Spirit, because most of us take December through March off, and then we get going again. Winnipeg. We're looking forward to Winnipeg. We will be on site, festival site again at the convention center. We're just working on that. I'll be in Winnipeg for the game on the 26th of June, touring around during the day to finalize venues and breakfast. Breakfast tickets will be going on sale probably shortly after that. So I'd say mid to late July. We'll have our tickets going. We just need to build the floor plan. And just all the nice changes that are happening within the Elks organization now. It's you never knew, going in there. First of all, you didn't know who was in an office anymore because they were switching out so quickly. But now it's nice to see the same faces and to. Chris is just such a great guy. He's positive and he wants to do what's right, and that's bring back the spirit of the Eskimos and the Elks and the old way. So, and like I said, they're doing everything right with all the proceeds now going to charities. And talking to Karen Kondowski this morning, she's a cheer team coach, and she does a ton of stuff around that organization. They're creating a scholarship for the cheer team now. So when you're doing your experience cheer and the registration, all that used to go to fund the team, but now it's going to fund this scholarship program for the cheerleaders. So if they want to get into higher level cheer or post secondary education, anything like that. So it's really good, And then on the Spirit of Edmonton, our charity of choice right now is still the Glenn McWhinney Foundation, where we support that with $2,000 every year, and it goes towards a student in the host city of the Grey Cup that may not be able to afford, but has all the attributes to go to post-secondary. And when Jeff McWhinney, the keeper of the cup, approached me about it, I said, yeah, the Spirit's in for sure. And then that grew. No other CFL team has joined that yet, so the Spirit started it. The Winnipeg Foundation is on board. The CFL Hall of Fame is on board. So I think that is around $7,000 or $8,000 now, that scholarship.
That's huge.
And it's handed out
great.
every at awards night on the Thursday night at the host city of every Grey Cup. And we've been proud to be a sponsor of that. And with this new partnership we're going to be announcing, I made that a mandate that we're not changing from that. We're going to continue to focus it. So yeah, there's just a lot of good things happening.
Gerry, I kind of want to ask you about this. Like with the template you guys have created, Spirit obviously first for going on 51 years now.
Yeah.
Now with the tailgate, Are you getting people that you meet when you go to other CFL cities asking how you go about creating this and like what, like if they wanted to replicate what you guys are doing at Grey Cup and then how you made it happen in the tailgate? Are you starting to get people asking those questions, or is that still not really happening?
You only need to go into every other team room to see that people have been watching what we've been doing.
Okay, good.
Because you'll see there's a striking similarities between what the Spirit has been doing for 50 years, 51 now, to what other teams are creating at festival site. When people say, why do I do it? Why do we do it? It's a passion. I'm a fan. And there's sometimes I'm sitting in meetings like, when I'm sitting with Chris and with Evan and sometimes Ed comes out and says, I'm thinking, I'm just Gerry Haracsi. Like, why? This is so cool, to be here. And that's why I do it, because I love it. I'm passionate about our city and our province and the country in that order. So I love representing. I love doing what I do, and I love meeting people. And if I forget your name and we've met 3 times, that's because I've met 25,000 people in the weekend.
That's true.
So that's why we do it.
Yeah.
You still with the WE alum? Or the green and gold for the Golden Bears?
Yep, Golden Bears football alum. Yeah.
How are you feeling about Boone Stevenson? Is that
Excited. I haven't met him yet.
No? Okay.
But excited.
It's
for
big change now also in the Golden Bears. Obviously, we're talking about the Elks and Chris Moore's there, but
and then,
where did he come from?
It's like, oh man, we're losing Chris. And Chris has been great for the last decade. And so, I'm looking forward to meeting Coach Stevenson. And there's been
there's been an added buzz to the Golden Bears football over the last few years.
Yeah. Yeah, I've noticed the difference at the games. Certainly from the 80s and 250 fans in Varsity Field.
Right.
The games last year I thought were all pretty well attended. That the season opener when I think it's during the week that school opens, packed. It'd be great to see that every game.
Yeah.
Like both sides.
You know what, Dave? Hearing people say, I'm going to go see Bears football this weekend. I've heard more of that just from people around town that would never have associated them with youth sport football. That's a good thing.
That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, the guys I hang around with, are the guys that go. So to hear you say that, people that have never gone to a Bears game say, I think I gotta go check out a Bears game. It's awesome.
That was me. I went to my first Bears game like 2 years ago or 3 years ago ever. Every year I was like, I need to go to a Bears game. And the schedule will not work, and I just won't go.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I've missed out this year, and he forgot. And then a couple years ago, Eric and I went. We watched because the Huskies were in town, so we went. And I'm like, I need to go. And the last couple of years I've been going, and it's just like it's just a nice start to the weekend generally, or it's just a nice Saturday thing to do. And even if it's chilly out, it's a lot of fun. Like when they were in the playoffs, I didn't go last year late in the playoffs, but the year prior I was there, and I froze my butt off. But it was just awesome to be there. And it's a fun added football to go to.
And I'll pump your guys' tires because I didn't go to a Riverhawks game until I heard you guys talking about it. Yeah. So when you guys talk about Bears football and someone decides to go to Bears football, I appreciate that. That's awesome.
I will say
it's great to have.
I don't remember one tailgate of Golden Bears. I was walking through it to get to the ticket office, and all of a sudden I just heard someone talking EST to someone.
I looked behind
Garrett, and he was telling someone what Edmonton sports talking.
Telling Garrett how he could get back to hear the guys on EST, and I was talking about the station, and Maddie comes running between the parked cars and gives me a fist bump. Oh, holy smokes!
I heard somebody say, "Hey, it's Dave." So I run over there. I'm like, "Hey, Dave, you're talking about us."
Yeah,
it's a lot of fun. That's just great. For me, the football is my favorite sport, so I'm always happy about that.
I'm president of the Trey Ford fan club. You gotta be super jacked this year.
I'm going in very cautious with that, but it's just like. Finally, we get to see him, and if he does well, it's like for so many of us, we could tell Chris Jones we were right. We were right, dude. Like, why'd you hold this guy back and stuff? But he's added the muscle. Like talking to him, that was one thing he wanted to work on in the off season, and you could see he's bulked up a bit in a good way. Let's go get that kids sport event we're at. He looked a little chunky, but he's trimmed that into the muscle now, and he looks trim and he looks good, and that's important because he's gotta learn to slide, and he's got to learn to, if he takes a hit, well, he just needs to have that muscle to be able to get up a little better, and I think he's got that. So
It's just exciting to see Canadian quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Like, that was never,
Yeah.
would never happen, right?
Yeah, I mean, I can't remember in all
Greg
my years of
Favreau?
watching.
Maybe
Yeah.
go back to that's the late 80s, maybe?
Yeah.
Julio Caravata.
What about
Who else would have been there as a Canadian quarterback? There's just not a lot.
God.
Brandon Bridge
Yeah.
came late,
It's so
Jesse
far
Palmer
between.
briefly?
Yeah.
but not even here, really.
Well, he played with Montreal like
Very late in his career,
couple
though.
games, I think.
But
No,
the
and-
starters that we have now.
Well, you got Rourke, you've got Ford,
Yeah.
and who knows what the next 5 years produce, but Elgersma in Winnipeg, and depending what Curtis Rourke does. If he doesn't stick with the 49ers, does he come up to Regina?
Remind me what Elgersma went.
He signed with the Packers, but he
Signed
got
with the
drafted by
Packers.
Winnipeg.
Yeah.
No.
So, but who knows? But if those two guys come to the Canadian football, and you're talking about 4 potential actually solid starting quarterbacks, and they just happen to be Canadian, I do believe that there should be some sort of benefit on the roster of some sorts of starting a Canadian, though. Because there isn't one.
No,
It's not to the
you're right.
ratio. It's weird that's not a
It
ratio
shouldn't be a
thing.
ratio thing, yeah.
There's got to be something that you get for if you're starting a Canadian quarterback, you get
A freebie.
you get maybe or something.
Yeah.
There's got to be something that can be worked out.
Yeah.
Rob from the Grove must have stopped by because he messaged in the nasty chat to Lieutenant Eric. This burger is fantastic. Please give my compliments to the chef. Lieutenant Eric went, he's sitting right there. And then Rob from the Grove responded, Dave from Section T. Excellent burger, sir.
Thank you, Rob from the Grove. Thanks.
Sincerely amazing burger.
And the sluice juice, amazing.
Great
Absolutely
touch.
amazing.
Breakfast of champions.
What do we got? Tailgate tomorrow. Did you say 4:30 it opens?
Yeah. 4:30.
Opens at 4:30. Yeah,
so it's 3.5 hours?
7:30 kickoff.
7:30 kickoff.
3
Is
hours.
7:30 kickoff?
Yeah.
I thought it was 7.
No, that's a late one. Hey, that's a late one for us. 7:30. I don't think we've been any later than that ever.
It's not like the sun's going to be down by the time the game ends anyway, so.
No, it's
the
pretty
hell?
good.
Oh, that's excellent. A little more
Hot
time
day.
to get ready to head out to
The
tailgate.
hardest
And it's
ones are those,
preseason, so I
yeah.
could take a nap if I preload too much. No, no, I'm excited.
You
I want to
do you,
stay awake for
Dave.
the whole. I want to stay awake for the whole thing. So, yeah, I'll be walking into the stadium without assistance. That's the plan.
Lieutenant Eric, I've had 4 big cups of sloosh. I'll be flying home. Tailgate tomorrow, 4:30. Elks and the Lions for the final preseason game. Tailgate all season. Spirit of Edmonton will be there.
Yeah.
The Cordy clan's going to be in the tailgate. Jason and Andrew in the tailgate. Elks are in the tailgate. Turf District are in the tailgate. Will eventually be in the tailgate and stuff. It is a great spot to go. It's the party before the game, and then you go to the game. It's just an event. It's an amazing event that you could take part in. And then the Labor Day rematch, the Spirit of Edmonton breakfast that will be taking place, goelks.com. There's more information there on how to get your tables or your tickets. You can go as a single. They're also selling some tables there as well, all for good causes too now, which is awesome.
Yeah, it's huge. It's we haven't once the floor plan is developed and then the tickets go on sale because we'll allow people to do it that way. But so we're probably looking at another 2 or 3 weeks. But there will be, I think there's just going to be announcements after announcements after announcements with this club and
Good.
and everything. And, everything's positive. And like I say, it's nice to be here smiling, not worrying about, how are we getting to Winnipeg and
Far
what
cry
are we
from
doing
where
in
we
Calgary.
were,
And
Before I didn't do Play Alberta over under. This is brought to you by Play Alberta. Download the app today or visit playalberta.ca. They have the Elks set at 7.5 wins. Over under for this season. 7.5 wins.
I'm going over.
if they win in the Grey Cup, they're going over.
Jay and I are all over the over this year.
I'm hitting that over
yeah.
for
It's,
sure.
I'm willing to think. I think double-digit wins this season. Dave, thank you very much for burgers, for tailgating for us.
Yeah,
We
round
really
the pleasure
appreciate that.
again.
Well deserved.
It's great having you come on the Hangout. Gerry, thanks for coming in once again. Thanks for bringing
pleasure.
the sluice juice, and thank you for all the work that you do with the Spirit of Edmonton and everything you guys do with the Spirit of Edmonton. It is
love
great
doing
stuff,
it.
and thrilled to know that you guys will be there in Winnipeg this year and
Winnipeg,
and beyond.
Calgary, 27, 28.
Edmonton, in there,
actually.
in 27 or 28.
I would love to do another Edmonton one, and maybe that would be my last one, and go out with a bang and show. we just show Edmontonians how special it is, how special the Spirit of Edmonton is. It's not, I've said this before, it's not me. There's, 12 of us on this committee that do it. I'm just lucky enough to be the face and the voice of it. So
18 was absolutely amazing. Thank you to everyone for tuning into the EST Hangout presented by Sentinel Storage. As I've mentioned, Lock Shop coming up. We've got 2 guys in a goal. EST Afternoons, Reed Wilkins Show with Jay Min until 5 o'clock. Then 6 o'clock, it's the GCLD's Oil Stream pregame show. Hudson's on White Ave. Tommy Hearn and Cass will get you set for game 5. They'll also have the postgame show for you as well. In between that, on the audio streams, we will also have Turf District on our audio streams as they had an episode last night. On behalf of Dave, Gerry, Tommy, Benny, I am Matt. Thanks for tuning in to the Hangout here in Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton Sports, presented by Play Alberta. Lock Shop coming up in just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere.
Look at this. Let's go.
There you go, right in front of the camera.
First-time guest, long-time listener, fan of the original draft commissioner.
Welcome to the EST Hangout presented by White Claw Hard Seltzer. The difference is clear. Matt Iwanyk, Tom Zola with here. Joining us today,